Compare financials. Find people. Analyze markets. You can enter phrases or ask questions. What do you want to know today? Ask a question or visit SearchGo to find answers now.
Crypto, you have a world of young people that want their own financial system and their own culture. And it is very powerful. And I'm a big believer in it.
I think that it's hard to put your head around any narrative. Let's just be honest. We've had sort of a shift in, are we in some sort of stagflation fears moment? People were talking about that all day yesterday.
Access the financial world on demand. Hear from leading economists, policymakers, and industry experts via live and on-demand webinars, only from Bloomberg. Start exploring to see what's moving the markets. Visit Bloomberg.com/webinars.
As the labor market continues to improve, we're going to see people come back into the labor force.
Even with higher wages, you won't drive inflation higher.
Inflation will come down, but from what levels?
Bond yields have gone up a lot and fast. But most of that increase has been inflation expectations, not the real yield.
The Fed has such a difficult task ahead of them. They need to engineer a soft landing.
This is Bloomberg Surveillance with Tom Keene, Jonathan Ferro, and Lisa Abramowitz.
This Fed is ready to go. From New York City for our audience worldwide, good morning, good morning. This is Bloomberg Surveillance Live on TV and radio alongside Tom Keene and Lisa Abramowitz. I'm Jonathan Ferro. Your NASDAQ down again, negative 82 on the NASDAQ 100, down another 0.5%. Tom Keene, the Fed, is ready to hike and maybe do a whole lot more.
There's some nuance in there. I mean, around the silliness. And, you know, Mike McKee and I make jokes about this, John, but the language of the minutes is several, few, some, many. What several, few, some, and many did was shock the markets yesterday afternoon.
Shocked them big time, Lisa, and introduced this faster approach to balance sheet reduction as well. And Lisa, it's not lost on anyone. You and I have talked about it a few times this morning. Unbelievable we're having this conversation about balance sheet reduction as they're still buying bonds month after month into March.
Which is a reason why the likes of Peter Bukvar, who you highlighted earlier this morning, is basically saying, why are we even doing this? Because they're continuing to expand their balance sheet. There is a change, though, in tone. And how much will that change into action? How much does that matter? Because right now, a lot of people do not think that markets are priced for a Fed shrinking its balance sheet. You've said this before, John. Do you actually think that they'll go through with it? Markets seem to be saying probably not, and yet they're getting more nervous.
Tom, let's game this one out. If they'd wound up QE already, let's say they finished the taper, would January be in play? Never mind March, based on the communication we've had from them so far.
There's the parlor game, John, and I'm going to say they're data dependent, including, as Lisa mentioned, services ISM today, and also the jobs report on Friday. They're going to go tick by tick by tick based on the data. And one outcome to me, John, is that we get higher inflation for a little bit longer than the consensus. And that would be a shock to the market right now.
Andrew Hollenhorst of Citi joined us a little bit earlier on this morning. He's published just now his base cases for a hike in June, but he says a drop in the unemployment rate in tomorrow's jobs report would make March more likely. From New York, here's the price action. Let's whip through it together. We're down 3 on the S&P, just a little bit softer by not even 0.1%. The pain has been concentrated in big tech in the NASDAQ, down 95 on the NASDAQ 100, down 0.6%. The catalyst for that from the bond market, yields higher, 3 basis points on 10s to 173.69, and just 3 or 4 basis points from taking out the high of last year. Tom, that was 177 this morning, just a few basis points away.
It is, and there's a real market here going on, John. I really want to take a moment, John, to give people a vignette of John's and my life. When we're in London, and Lisa, you're going to love this when we finally get over to QBS, you roll down the hill to the Thames, John, and as you know, you're the one that took me down, I think, Dowgate Path, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, to that Greg's restaurant right down by the Thames River. They've got a changing of the guard today. You know, I'm in triple leveraged all cash, John. You stood at that Greg's, as you explained to me, 96 levels of sausage pastry and said, buy the damn stock. It's gone 5 pounds to 30 pounds as they have bang-up earnings today and a changing of the CEO guard. Sometimes I should listen to you, John.
I convinced you, although to be fair, Tom, I did mislead you. I convinced you that that was a boutique London patisserie store. And you believed me until you started to sing them on every single corner as we made our way back to the hotel. Joining us now is Joe Quinlan, head of CIO Market Strategy for Maryland Bank of America Private Bank. Joe, you say do not fear the Fed. Why, Joe?
Because the Fed is going to raise rates, John, as everyone knows, because the economy is strong. It's healthy. Nominal growth, double digits, that's good for earnings. So early in a Fed tightening cycle, equities perform well. It's at the end of the Fed tightening cycle is where you see the rolling over. So we're still constructive on equities, particularly where real interest rates being negative. So don't fear the Fed just now. The messaging is important, obviously. A little shock yesterday. But in general, I don't think yesterday really changed much in terms of the near-term outlook for equities.
And I lost my head. Thought of all the stupid
I think we might have a problem with Tom Keen's connection. Tom Keen was meant to jump in there, Joe. At least he wanted to. So, Joe, I'll continue the conversation. A little bit earlier on this morning, we had this big debate about a tightening of financial conditions. Would the Federal Reserve back away? Would they need to back away? Could they back away? You know from experience, and the last time we saw a big shock like this was the back end of 2018. I'm not saying that's what we've got now. We've got a little subtle flavour of that. At the back end of 18, we had a tightening of financial conditions. The credit market in high yield seized up at a primary market, at least, Joe, and the Fed was able to back away. Before they've even fired a bullet, we're having this conversation already, Joe. Do you think this time is different, or is it the same story?
I think it's a similar story, John. I do remember that because it ruined my Christmas Eve. Remember that? The Fed was shocked there to the system. So, but I think this Fed pivots. You know, what the Fed has to do is what Ben Bernanke talked about. He said monetary policy is 98% communication, 2% action. So the Fed has to do a better job telling us what they're thinking, how they're thinking, give us kind of the roadmap so the markets can anticipate where they're heading next and have a clue. So I think there's similarities, but really, John, I go back to the fundamentals. Good nominal growth. We got the earnings season coming up. That's going to be gangbusters for a lot of sectors, particularly the cyclicals, energy. So I think that's going to kind of overwhelm and kind of be the focus as we go deeper into January.
There were some nuggets within the meeting minutes that we haven't discussed, including a concern about a flattening yield curve, this desire to have a steepening yield curve as an indication that perhaps the economy is on an upward trajectory. How much can that color traders' conviction in this reflation trade in the financials?
Well, Lisa, you're right. I mean, a flattening yield curve is not, that would signal some difficulties for the economy. But so I think, when you look at overall monetary policy, it's still very accommodating, right? I mean, that's kind of getting lost here in the narrative in the last, say, 12 hours or so. So I think, the overall policy remains accommodating. You're going to get another fiscal package out of Washington as well. So there's enough liquidity out there, even as we speak today, to continue to drive growth. And the curve matters, of course, but here near term, say the first half of this year, you want to be positioned in cyclical value equities. Buy the technology on the pullback, right? We're kind of talking to our clients like rebalancing. We're going to get an entry point for technology later in the first, say, second quarter, where you want to own technology, add your exposure. We're not there yet. So we're really very much watching opportunistically where to put money to work on the curve and in equities.
Joe Quinlan, I want to harken back to Phil Correa, the giant of Pioneer Group, working with John Kerry as well. And they always told me, these gentlemen of great experience, as you know, that there was always an underestimation of what high nominal GDP would mean for corporations. Most people breathing today have never enjoyed a high nominal GDP. Are we grossly underestimating the corporate oomph of the bright lights of nominal GDP growth?
Yeah, Tommy, right. We haven't seen nominal GDP growth like we've seen in the last, say, 12 months in decades. And people do tend to forget that. Corporations live in a nominal world, right? That's very important. they can have operating leverage to control the cost. When they control the cost, their earnings increase. So I think the markets are catching up to the fact that it's about nominal growth, the leverage companies have to work through the cost pressures, and it falls to the bottom line. So you're right, we've forgotten about it. It's becoming more of a consensus narrative, and that's why we think equities continue to grind higher. CEOs love strong nominal growth. It gives them a lot of leverage, a lot of opportunities to work the bottom line.
Joe, can I just extend that to a different concept, just a different argument, a different conversation? What do you think the consumer will respond to this year as they sit for this year's pay negotiations in their annual reviews? Do you think 4 to 5% gets it done, nominal? Or do you think they look at that and they feel that that's not enough?
I think, well, John, a lot of our clients, have felt pretty good about being in the markets for the last 3 years. They know that's not going to continue, so they want to participate, stay ahead of inflation. They're working, we're looking to see more clients go into, say, commodities. But I think, in general, reversion to the mean at high single digits, the dividend payers, that's where our clients are leaning, and they're expecting that, and they're okay with that. I mean, a lot of our clients, 3 years of double-digit returns, they can handle single digits.
Joe, thank you, sir. Joe Quinlan there of Merrill Bank of America Private Bank. Tom, I want to go back to that question because I think that was misheard on Joe's end. I just wonder what's going to make a difference to the consumer this year. Do you need a positive real hike in your income? Or do you think a sizable nominal increase of 4 or 5% will get it done for some people?
It harkens back to another era. What I will say, John, is there's a massive differential between the British experience and the American experience. There was an absolute conviction and belief in America decades ago that if there was inflation, you would get a pay raise. And that was shattered, like it was in Britain in the 1920s and 30s. That was shattered here in recent decades. In America and the labor share, I don't think they've got the belief, John, that they're going to get the pay raise necessary to equate or even to prosper.
That's why consumer confidence is going to be a key feature for a lot of people in the year ahead. Very interested to hear from Neil Kashkari at the Minneapolis Fed, who was looking at those long-term pay negotiations and heard from some people that they were up to 7%. That got his attention. Not just a one-year increase, but a multi-year increase. An annual increase of close to 7%. That gets your attention. Futures right now, unchanged on the S&P, down 76 on the NASDAQ. Let's call it down 77. We're down 0.5%. Yields are higher by 2 or 3 basis points on 10s to 173.34. Heard on radio, seen on TV. With Lisa Bramett and Tom Keene, I'm Jonathan Ferro. This is Bloomberg.
Get your face out of my mind to see the world through different eyes. Every time I see you, I try to hide away, but when we meet, it seems I can't let go. Every time you leave the room, I feel I'm fading like a flower. Tell me why, when I scream there's no reply, and when I reach out there's nothing to find. When I sleep I break down and cry. Every time I see you I try to hide away, but when we meet it seems I can't let go. Every time you leave the room I feel I'm fading like a flower, fading like a rose, fading like a rose, beaten by the storm, talking to myself, getting washed by the rain. It's such a cold, cold storm, such a cold town. Every time I see you, I try to hide away, but when we meet, it seems I can't let go. Baby, this is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. This is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. Fast till they can replay. Who knows why it's gonna be this way? We say nothing more than we need. I say your place when we leave. This is what you came for. Lightning strikes every time she moves, and everybody's watching her, but she's looking at you. 'Cause you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. 'Cause you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the path. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in the sky, 'cause in a sky full of stars, I think I saw you. Cause you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. 'Cause you get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause in the sky, 'cause in a sky full of stars, I think I see you. You're a sky, you're a sky full of stars. I think I saw you. Such a heavenly view. You're a sky, you're a sky full of stars. You're a sky, you're a sky full of stars. You gotta go and get angry at all of my honesty. You know I try, but I don't do too well with apologies. I hope I don't run out of time. Can someone call a referee? 'Cause I just need one more shot at forgiveness. I know you know that I made those mistakes maybe once or twice. By once or twice, I mean maybe a couple of 100 times. So let me redeem on myself tonight. 'Cause I just need one more shot at second chances.
Change this morning to slightly higher at this point. We're bouncing back after starting the session in negative territory once again, coming off that big slide we saw yesterday that followed the Fed minutes from the latest meeting in December that showed more members of the Federal Reserve in support of both faster rate hikes and the tapering to increase quicker as well as far as asset purchases go for the Fed. So we saw all three U.S. indexes sell off heavily in the close yesterday. The Dow down 392 points at the end of the day. The S&P about 2%. The Nasdaq led the way. Its biggest single-day decline since February, off 3.3%. Decline was widespread as well. It wasn't really specifically about the tech or growth stocks. It was the entire market. We saw all 11 S&P 500 sectors in negative territory when all was said and done yesterday. We just got the weekly jobless claims data out there. Looks like they were slightly higher, up about 7,000, 207,000 versus 195 expected. Banks here, though, this morning trading a little bit higher, showing some strength. So we're going to talk about the financial sector. We'll have a look at some tech as well. Apple and Tesla both weak in early trading. Some earnings to get to as well. Yeah, Walgreens out this morning with their latest report. We'll talk about that. Bed Bath & Beyond as well. It's Thursday, January 6, 2022.
Yeah, I know that I let you down. Is it too late to say I'm sorry now? I'm not just trying to get you back on me, 'cause I'm missing more than just your body.
And then we're going to look at, a bit of a mix board at this point. You can see 0.3 for the Dow. S&P just going back in positive territory. Nasdaq still lagging ever so slightly. The TSX futures here in Toronto back in red once again as well. Little change to overall. Big bump for crude there, 2% back in positive territory. Crude oil lower when all of a sudden done yesterday as well. Declines in cryptocurrencies continue here. I just saw a comment on that Ethereum. Find that again, but there was a comment that came out there on Ethereum going forward. So, some weakness in cryptocurrencies, guys, to kick things off once again this morning. After that tumble we saw yesterday, it's Lumberjack Day once again. I'll have to give Justin a heads up, Sean.
Yeah. Team Lumberjack, Justin and I. He chops the wood and I pile it. So, it's been a good run here for the market. It's been short, obviously yesterday the Fed minutes set this market tumbling down, and is that the word? Tumble? That's the word. Really? I was going to say it wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad. It was 3%, but that's the Nasdaq. Yeah, there's so many other names that were fine. I mean, if you're well diversified into energy, that was just a big cap stocks. But again, we got the other stuff that we've been doing, and we're just close back to where we're at October level. So I'm excited to trade today. I think there's some good longs that can be found. We have to be specific and be patient today. So let's let the market settle down, and we'll take some trades early, but we're very specific with what we're doing.
Yeah, we've seen panic days for Washington. We've seen days where, maybe it's the Fed, maybe whatever causes the market to slide, people come in with that feeling in the morning, the next day, and a lot of times that opens, it's like if there's like a big wick bottom, and then some of these things where it catches in, it's like that can be fantastic bounce back days. Of course, it goes the other way. Like if you break lows and don't turn around, floodgates can open up. I just before we even get into it, I just want to make because obviously Bed Bath & Beyond is on our watch list today, and I'll tell you right now, yes, it was down at the time of writing, but I can show you what happened here. So that was involved in it 3 times. One time in which, thanks to the Lord God, that people I would stop and keep it more sure than it was. That's all I will say. But yeah, it was down. It was down 10%. I want to say it was very, very close. That now up 8.5% after missing rates. So remember the shortage that's in this name. It absolutely, that's a reversal in just crazy. So quick question. You're going to read that on the watch list. Believe me, it was down, and it was down absolutely significantly when the results came this morning. But it made all of it back, went all the way back into yesterday's top before it turned. Well, actually passed yesterday's high before it turned around at $15. So that's beyond certainly on
MULN.
Here today. So yeah, I know we have a couple of things in earnings, but you're not going to need earnings to have the market. Here's that JP Morgan that was Ethereum. Ethereum. So that kind of kicked off a little more selling in that cryptocurrency this morning. Before we came on, before we go any further, Miss B is back in the building this morning and ready to go.
This video. Let's get it started.
Lots to discuss as we head towards the open here this morning. We'll jump into a few things. Cryptocurrency related stocks under a little bit of pressure again this morning because of some continuation moves to the downside here. It's worth noting, as we said, during that slide yesterday, we saw the entire market under pressure, really, including some of the banks. Banks holding up a little bit better this morning. There are a few signs of strength going into the day, guys, including, as Neil was saying, coming from Bed Bath & Beyond back to the upside. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I shouldn't say it's crazy. You see moves like that when they report earnings. They can't get that sense. When you have, it's a very bullish look when someone makes a rebound like that. You mentioned crypto. I was actually going to pull up, and I was ready to sort of quickly talk about Coinbase because, I'm pretty sure they caught an upgrade. Caught an upgrade recently on the 15-minute. When I made that example, or said that example of you break some bottoms, have a fake low, and then sort of bounce back to the upside right at the open after a day like yesterday in the markets. A lot of times it can be a pretty good bullish run. So I only pulled up Coinbase because it kind of had the look of that. You have some support lower at like 231, 231 and a half or so. We tested that yesterday. You have a pre-market low right around that same level. So if you were to breach this, not get past 230, then come back above like that 231, 232, that'd be a pretty bullish move, and then maybe you could be breaking back out. Coinbase in particular, of course, you have to watch spot price. But if you saw that set up on, I'm just gonna throw a name out there like, let's say Nvidia or something like that, then you'd be looking for that level of support coming back in after a failed break, because what that would do is trap shorts. Same with punch long at the top. Anybody that's like, market going down, anyone that shorts that could get reversed pretty quickly. I just happen to see it over there on Coinbase at that level, so that's the reason for bringing it up.
Yeah, Coinbase, I mean, we looked here yesterday, we talked about Ethereum, so Ethereum, yes, ticking down rates to where we've been before on that one crazy crash day, down here to 33.5, and that's basically where we are right now, yeah, it's not great, so we'll have to wait, coming back in, bouncing off 3,000, that's going to be a level. We have some 2,700 or so down here. I don't know. I mean, this is what crypto does, right? So we're just going to have to wait to see where we go from here on Ethereum. I mean, it's been a big move down. I mean, it's kind of a re-weighting in a lot of different asset classes. 42,000 right now on BTC. Just cracked down today, down to 42.4. Like, that's pretty low, man. Like, I recently bought them at 47. And now it's got back down to 42. So, yep, I mean, this is a time here that if you do have some spare cash lying around, I don't know if you want to put some to work today, but let's let this, sort of base out a little bit down here. If you look again at a daily chart here, I mean, I just look, a lot of the altcoins obviously getting hit as well, but as you can see, just like Ethereum, we're bumping up to, just like they're bumping hopefully down to 3,000 and not any lower. Bitcoin trying to do the same thing here back to 40,000. So we're not all going crazy. We were already here back in October, late September, October, and then we're here again now in January. So this is kind of the ebb and flows of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but the market is the same kind of thing right now here. If we take out the QQQs, this is what we talked about yesterday. Obviously, Fed got very, very hawkish back in November, and then yesterday he cut out with minutes, and you can see what happens. Increased volume. It's hard to see that. Here, maybe I can make. There you go. Thanks. Increased volume down here, and really no love at all in the afternoon. It looks like we're going to open even lower the day on the NASDAQ. But the one thing to understand too is the S&P 500 today is going to be up to start the day. It looks like it's hovering around flat right now. So you see the S&P also with an equal drop, but some of those names like the bank names, like the energy names, IBM, like kind of stronger old tech names might work, but for right now the SPY hovering around flat and the NASDAQ down again here today. So we're gonna have to pick and choose our poison, I feel like, and not get into too many of these tech names too early. Wait for a possible
I just saw Funware pop up here, guys, up 3.5%. They just announced some new software at they're at CES this year. So PHUN on the move up about 4%, as I mentioned. I want to talk about Rivian here. I saw a couple of people talking about it in the pre-market. Rivian set to open near lows. So we got back to basically all-time lows yesterday. Kind of bounced off it a little bit, but we're hovering around that area again this morning. This chart just comparing all of the quote-unquote EV makers, including Ford and GM, which are at the top. That's expecting a bit of Lucid in this mess as well, including, it is the actually purple line here at the bottom for Lucid. So Rivian, guys, back to that all-time low area this morning.
Yeah, look, I think something along those lines, because you talked about if it were to sort of breach this low, hold just below it, it's about like 88 change, right? That's hold below it and snap back up. That would be kind of that idea for a long setup, sort of at a T. But ultimately, I really do think if we actually get that kind of a snapback rally, there's a really decent chance that something like Tesla might be a better play if that setup were to hold than Rivian. I will probably pay for shorts in Rivian just to be prepared and set up, but I'll say this about Ford and GM, right? Like in this environment, let's try to keep in mind a few things here. If you look at GM, they basically, forget about the EV for a quick second, because they got taken over by Toyota for the first time in like a century or something like that. That's to be the #1 selling automaker in the US, probably more like 70 or 80 years, something along those lines. And it was because of supply chain issues, and Toyota just basically beat them management-wise in terms of being prepared, like stockpiling chips and managing to manage their way through COVID and all of that. So if GM had been like a really high price to earnings ratio, big, one of those names, and had that happen to them, they would have gotten absolutely crushed. Instead, they were strong and sort of running up. And that's the difference between, your companies that make something and have cash flows and have revenue streams that you can be more certain about and pricing in this environment and others. So if the market continues to be relatively weak, I think there's going to be some opportunities in your GMs and your Ford, because at the end of the day, like there is some strength to them. And the valuations aren't necessarily as crazy as your EV names. So you really start to think about these in terms of buckets. And when we talk about buckets for day trading, always consider which ones that you want to trade, right? Like one of the worst things that I think you can do is, like you see setups on Lucid, Rivian, and say Tesla, and then take all three of them the same way, when it's like, well, just trade one and maybe use more risk into it, because ultimately they're basically the same thing. But I think you can put Ford and GM into one bucket, and you can put these into another. I'm paying for shorts on Rivian just in case there is that chance that we get a bottom break at that 88 change level. But in the back of my mind, I have seen those wipeout bottom panic days make the hard reversals. I prefer some tech names to a Rivian for that kind of a setup, but if you're taking a short, you should have that in the back of your mind, especially if it triggers at the open.
So Rivian, yeah, I mean, that's good talks about Rivian there, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pass over and talk about Lucid, another EV space right here, and it's on the sticky note. So guys, please share it, retweet it, everything. We had 40-something retweets yesterday as well on this thing, but you can see here, let's see a 36 hold, right? I mean, I want to see maybe a small little long. Should have punched the long when we came in today. If EV fails, look to short sell this, because if Rivian breaks, if Tesla starts breaking lower, then I don't think Lucid's going to hold. But we should have, and it's funny because when I wrote this, it was right here at 36. And I was like, how do I punch the ticket now? Just take the long. Should have done that, but you can see here on the daily chart, Lucid has been dropping down. I think we're we're at such a, I mean, forget about Rivian's fine, it's good, and it has a very similar look to this. It doesn't have as many data points, but look at Lucid. How many times have we bounced right off 36? I talked about this yesterday at the close for a possible swing trade idea. It's not, obviously you're not in the money that much here, but you know, we can just see what happens off this bounce. The very bottom is 35.50. It's that way here, so I think for me, now that we bounced a little bit off here, I'm embarrassed. I should already be 30 cents in the money because I did like this at 36 flat, which we just did at. So I think now we'll wait down there near 36 even, see what happens to Lucid. You know, you've seen it make monster moves throughout the day, right? Even yesterday, 39, we opened that. We cracked it down to 37, basically. Made our way back to 38 and change. And then, of course, you know, was battling around doing nothing. And then the big drop there for about $2 into the flow. So, you know, we held 36 yesterday when it could have easily crushed it down to the downside. So let's see if it holds it again. I like Lucid down here near 36. And again, all over this on the sticky note. We also have Ford on here as well. I like the long on the 24 break. Let's see if we have support at 23.50. So, yeah, good to go here on EV and some car makers today. I guess we could just sort of lump Ford in there. That's why they're getting the bump anyway. So I'm going to put some bids down on Lucid. We should already be long, but you know, one mistake we'll follow it up with hopefully a good trade. So 36.10 or so. We'll sit around here and see if we get another long on Lucid in case it comes down. 35.50 to support.
We saw some of the S&P and Dow trying to get back to positive territory over the past couple of days. Some of the resource stocks specifically, mining stocks and other resource names have been strong. I just brought up CLF here again today. Cleveland Cliffs, I mean, this daily chart pretty impressive going back to, I guess, the middle of December all the way up to $24 here. Back to the upside again, 2% guys for CLF, so a group that is not terribly active here in the free market, but worth watching.
Yeah, I mean, after you saw what before and USD and all those resource names were doing, another one to throw out there, and obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously, for those that are following what's going on in Kazakhstan, you're actually getting a big run up in uranium. So I just added CCJ to my watch list because they're a big producer. Kazakhstan is like 40% of the uranium production in the world, and that name has been on a bit of a tear. So when you're looking at resources, momentum is usually going to be your trend, is going to be your friend, obviously. And if we get further weakness and you look for places for longs, let's say you're only really going long when you're trading, then you want to make sure you've got some of these in your bucket in case we don't get, you know, that turnaround that sometimes you get in a morning like this. So, you know, a lot of times for trading, I'd probably be going over to like a U.S. Steel. Cleveland Cliffs is certainly an opportunity as well. But I have added this to my radar, like CCJ. It's been up a few days in a row here. Looking like it's trying to open up a little bit higher. But it's nothing I've traded before. It did tank with the rest of the market in yesterday's action, but it has been on a bit of a tear because of the uranium fears of scarcity.
Yeah, we're getting ready to rock and roll here, guys. I didn't even look at CLF yet, but there are, you know, I was wondering if there was a mining ETF. We asked about that yesterday, and I actually didn't look into it. So let me know if there is anything like that. Because like I said, I think right now the best thing to do is get diversified. And if there is one like that does cover kind of everything, because like you mentioned, uranium there, copper, you know, FCX as well, iron ore, things like that right now, lithium. I mean, they're all super hot. I know a name that both of you guys like, LAC.
No, they got I don't know if it bounced, but
yeah, this is there. Yeah, we didn't get hit too bad. Yesterday was only down $2, but again, a nice move to the downside there in LAC. So I mean, I know Neil and Brendan have talked about this name. It's kind of near, it's below the 50-period moving average. So if you do like it and you do have some support, I mean, there's a lot of names that look like this, but again, with some catalyst behind it, you know, I'm not in any of these names, but just because it was brought up on the show a lot, it's not a bad little area here down to $30. So if you're looking to pick up anything, this is work. You can just see how well it's working based on here. But we could easily fall back down. I mean, you see what happened to any market, but at the same time, when you try to buy stocks with catalysts, and the lithium right now in the EV space, pretty hot, obviously, needless to say. So, but look where this thing came from. Wow, this was $2, guys, in March of 2020, obviously. And then all the way back up, and yeah, okay, so whatever, I'm not going to go back too far, but this name right around the 50-period moving average, I like it, LAC.
everybody talking about this ear right now. Eargo. So there was a DOJ investigation into this company. It looks like they've been referred, or the investigation has been referred to its civil division, and that's in relation to some insurance reimbursement claims. So this ear on the Nasdaq doing all kinds of volume right now, up 60%, guys. So a lot of people just bringing that up. It looks like it was a DOJ investigation regarding insurance reimbursement claims, and the investigation itself has been passed over to their civil division instead of the actual DOJ. So, which I guess is positive news for the company.
Yeah, I guess it means some don't want criminal. You don't want that. Settlement coming, I guess.
Yeah, probably. I mean, the thing about it, I was just looking at the stock because, yeah, you did have this monster drop off here, of course, right? Monster move to the downside. Obviously, we can see the huge volume here. This must have been in September. Looks like September 23rd or so. I don't know what's going on with, this is strange, $75, all the way down to $4 there. I guess they were basically facing impending bankruptcy, I guess, on this news, because down to $4 from a high of 75 with, really no reprieve here. And today you get that on here. So, wow. Okay, this is pretty obviously important news here. We're not going to look at any of these levels, but that's 460 right there. And then today it's bang to the upside. So I don't really, have too much opinion on this right now. $6 and $7 coming through. Wow, big news story there. Obviously, it would have been nice to have this story before this happened, but now it's going to pull back in. I try to look for, levels here of, where do we get started? Obviously, down here when the news comes out, but we're starting to get a little red here. If anything, this might be a short until it takes out that 750. That's really the only play right now that I can see. The shorts on names that are going parabolic are so much easier than the longs because, we have it out here. Otherwise, you're waiting to punch this new high. And it's who knows where people are long. This might even be a good profit spot for a lot of traders. Traders could be long $4 or $5, like you just said. They wake up, they see 7 1/4, they take it. So, just watch out here. It's an easier short right now than a long because we have this triple top basically here. For the last 5 minutes, we topped out at 750 every time. So I think it's an easier short than long, but at the same time, this is very dangerous. I don't know much about this stock. So for me, I'm going to sit on the sidelines a little bit. I guess you're going to have to, do we have to pay for shorts?
They're free. So that's actually, sometimes that's dangerous, by the way. For when something like this is going parabolic, it's free to pay for shorts.
Yeah.
Traders, especially prop traders, just see easy opportunities. So that means that the 750 short could be crowded. If I had to try to pick where it could bounce, the 50 period and the initial support after what looks like the worst of it back in September, that support was right down around 617, which also happens to be the 50 period moving average today. So if I had to pick a spot, that looks like that could be where a support level might be. And I'm not shorting it because when I see it's free to short, it's like, ooh, my goodness, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try to play that 750 short.
So yeah, I know, and that's the thing. So I just went long then based off of this bottom wick here at 680. So we're long here at 710. There it goes. It just goes up in the money 20 cents, and it's you don't take it, right? Normally 20 cents on a $7 stock isn't horrible, but I'm only giving this 30 cents to the back here. So if we take out this 680, it's really the only level here that I can see. So we're gonna go long on here, and hopefully there's more people that hear about this stock.
Here we go. Upgrades and downgrades for the day, guys. Allbirds. Bird is the word today. 5% to the upside for Morgan Stanley. Lows on here. UiPath, Canada Goose. Yeah, some retail names getting some downgrades. Wells Fargo downgrading both Target and Dollar General, guys.
What is that, Allbirds?
Allbirds, baby. So I have Allbirds at home. I didn't even realize I owned the shoe. My wife got them for me. They're super comfortable. I'm not going to try to be a spokesperson for them. And by the way, it's at 26,000 shares in the pre-market, which is absolutely nothing, and the stock is getting crushed. But I can tell you the shoes are really nice. They're probably a little bit more expensive than they need to be. But ESG is a thing, and there will be a lot of people that want this thing to work. So it'll be on my radar. I just wish it had done any kind of volume whatsoever. But yeah, they're comfy. It's up 5%. And look, there's a lot of names that
I think what you're going to see in the midst of like sell-offs is a lot of analysts are like trying to, which makes sense, right? Like at the beginning of the year, it's like what is the thing that has a chance to rally? And a lot of times it's what's been beaten down the most. So when you find something like this, which is relatively popular, which is a product that a lot of people like, you know, bouncing off of its lows yesterday, that's not a horrible looking bounce. It bounced off like the Fed bottom, essentially, and you're already kind of running back into the upside. I just wish there was volume. 26,000 shares means probably no day trade unless things get more interesting off the open. But that year is definitely on our list. And I am in this ATHG. I should probably at least mention it. For now, it's a scalp trade. When 110 broke, it was gap up, consolidation lower. When it broke the obvious consolidation here at 110, 111, I just shorted that and was scalping it. It then broke to the higher level consolidation, like about the 117, 118, and then I shorted that price 116 in front of it, and I'm scalping it again. If it takes out that high, walk away until 930 or so it tests the high, and then I would probably try the rollover again with the 130 stop. So pretty easy structured trade. It's done 10 million shares. Levels are pretty good. But keep in mind, anytime one of these, I'll pull up the daily chart, anytime one of these makes a move like this, where it's been up a few days in a row, gets the catalyst, bounces above $1, if it holds $1 at the open on the bid, sometimes you really do have to watch out for that breakout. I like the fact that when the failure happens at an obvious level, it usually can remain weak, but when a penny stock holds that $1, well, a lot of times you don't want to get too greedy or too stubborn about shorting it too close to that $1 level.
Yes, sir. Ears, let's go. Right now, up to 760. We're long at 710. Ears popping right now. We're actually waiting at $8, but I think right now that might not make sense as we get a big win right now on ears. So, yeah, good trade here. Let's just take the piece out right now. We can. Ooh, it might just turn there. I put offer at 79. Let's see if it rips up to here and gets us out. Ooh, bouncing around 75. Let's maybe just take this out. If we get 73, there it is. So we're out right there. I don't even, ooh. Just went right to $8 where we should have been at. There it is, where we were at initially. There it is, a big win already for the People's Trader. Big trade right there. Already in on that one. Boom, into the upside. There goes Sears. Adios, amigos. We're out of 2/3 because you know what? Sometimes I hold these names and yeah, they don't work out. So right now, there it is. Yes, sir. Let's go to years on this one. 816, 815, 8. This is just a monster trade. Thank you to Brendan Wickens for this trade right here. And you know, again, just get a little bit aggressive. You're waiting for this kind of bottom. It takes out these tops. There goes years to the upside. I'm still using this as a stop, so if it still comes back down to 680, we'll get that out. But there it is right there. Taken quickly. We should have took more profit on it. We were waiting at 8. We got a little bit excited there. Took some out at 75. So a nice little 80 cent or 70 cent win or so on that one. 60 cents on that name. So we'll wait to see where ears goes. But there it is. A nice little pop to the upside on EARS. And I was going to say something else about whatever we were talking about. Oh, I was going to say it's a good thing you bought the shoes, not the stock. There on Birds, or else those shoes would be infinitely more expensive at this time.
I don't know what it says about the company that I didn't even know like what brand I owned. I just
had marketing, but yeah, that stock is getting busted now because those here guys all the way to the upside, and this is why you got to sort of come back, check us out every single day, man. I mean, as news breaks, we're going to sit here and trade them for you, and there it goes, EAR, about as clean of a break there.
Yeah, it's interesting with Allbirds. I mean, they only came to market I think it was Q4 of last year, so it was a relatively new IPO. DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods, up here in the pre-market on a raise of their full-year profit forecast, guys. So I just saw, we're talking about Target and some other weakness in retailers today, but DKS, not so much, up nicely in the pre-market. Let's get to Arun before we jump into what else is moving around in the pre-market this morning and get a look at the overall futures here this morning. Big move down, as everyone saw yesterday. Arun, what are you looking at today?
Well, this is an interesting situation to be in. We talked about this yesterday, that when we were around that 4,800, I said around 4,785. So in the event that we went down, there's a lot of space to the downside. We cleared all of that. So we've blown up 80 support levels we've had, and that was 46.90. Yeah, 46.90 was the level that was before we went. If we got below 47.30, that was gone now. So what I have to now consider on the S&P side of things is that if we were to bounce up, we've got a ton of resistance to get through all that action we were supposed to kind of get support with, that previous action going back into mid to early December, that's all gone now. That's probably going to act as resistance. So what I'm looking at, 47.40-ish as the potential resistance zone up top. So any pop that we get into the 47.15s, 10s, 15s going on up, if we can fade that, if there's a setup to fade, then I think I'd go for that in that direction. A nice little bounce up would be helpful to kind of activate the short. There's definitely no way I would look for shorts at this price, but the market does look like it wants to take a little break. There might be a relief rally that would fade. On the NASDAQ side of things, if that's in a quite a different spot here, we're actually at the bottom end of the December lows here, early December lows around that 15,600, 15,500. So if we're going to bounce, it's got to be now. It's going to be, you have about 150 points or so to bounce and see if we can get bounce off that DMA. And if that happens, then you might just re-enter the range. But if we crack that 15, I'm going to say 15,490, if we crack that, the market's probably got a ton of space to the downside on the NASDAQ side of things. And we have seen a decent amount of weakness in the NASDAQ over the last few days. Before that move yesterday, there's been weakness in the NASDAQ since the beginning of the year, right? So even now, as I look at the market, NASDAQ down 0.45 and S&P up 0.02, so relatively flat. So the NASDAQ still showing relative weakness, but we've seen the type of volatility the NASDAQ brings. That could change in a hurry, but again, if we break that 15,490, I think that's going to be the last level of defense here. And if we lose that, I think this market has a ton of space, and that's something to watch out for. For now, negative bias, keep an eye out. If you get a long, if you get a nice little move in the market, either market, potential fades are in play, and that's what I'm looking for.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. Yeah, going to be important to understand the overall picture of what is happening on a day like today. Let's talk about what is moving here in the pre-market this morning. That's the link to the watch list, guys. Miss V will have that in the chat if you do require that. Ask her nicely to help you out. Let's talk about the banks because, yeah, they came off yesterday with the overall market, but trying to show some strength here in the pre-market, getting back into positive territory early on anyways. I mean, there's no significant news-related item here other than higher interest rates going to obviously benefit the banks, guys.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's your standard fare. I mean, the market got shocked because, you know, I don't think anybody was really expecting that they were going to sort of pull back the bond purchasing. Well, I guess pull back the bond purchasing is more like letting what they hold expire, meaning they're not going to be, it'll decrease the balance sheet, right? So be more specific about what that's going on. That's what shocked the market to the downside. It really did, harm the banks, but you have to consider some context here because I'm just looking at BAC because I think it's the cleanest example of that. If you look at what had happened since the beginning of the year, like look at the break, the 45 break, and you essentially had like a nice $3 move with a double top up there, and so there was some profit taking on the banks. Now I'm still looking at that double top for a potential break on BAC. I think the support is pretty clean at 46, but I'm not really. I just don't see any way that we could be dropping down into a level like that. So I'm looking at BAC, and I'm looking at that 48.50 level for potential breakout today. If we do get a chance to shoot at something like 47 where it bottom out in the afternoon, maybe we'll go for that. I'd really love it at 46. I just don't see any way that we're going to be pulling back $2 on BAC. So this one, I'm looking at 48.50. You probably heard me say it in the past that I hate this stock for day trading. A lot of that has to do with like 15 years ago? Maybe longer than that. Almost like 18 years ago when Tom and I had our trading floor, and for whatever reason, it's just the stock that our floor did the worst on. It's a very different name now in the way that it trades, the amount of liquidity on it, and sort of how the algos are really messing around with it. But the 48.50 level looks pretty good for a break. I'm going to have that order out there ready to take, see if it can go. There's also 48 up at the top here. At the open, I might just jump into that one for a smaller amount and then try to scalp that trade, whereas I think you've got some room to run if you're going to break out to the upside. I'm going to show you that on the daily chart here. If you look at that top, you're about to break out. If I go any further back, it's just a crazy list, but you're about to try to break out here on the banks. And I think a lot of people are still going to be looking at that attractive safety net. If tech doesn't get the bounce that we want, well, then that's one of those situations where you might have to see some more profit taking on BAC. I just like the clear levels that you'll be able to have there. If that 50 goes, 48.50, let's say, you've got a 48 stock, you know exactly where to go with it, or when it's going to be failing. So, I'm going to be all on BAC today. I like Morgan, preferably for the long term. I just see BAC having some better levels up here.
I can't believe this ear, man. $1.70 now upside in the money on that trade. Yeah, you can't look at this daily chart on WFC, which sucks, of course, but WFC, I'll call it up on another platform here so you can see it quickly. We are, this is broke out, unlike BHC, trying to get to 48.50. WFC actually yesterday took out its high of 52. You do have like a wick high that day of 52.60, but now we're above it. So like Ford, this is already a name that is breaking out like crazy. I mean, you could have had this a year ago, guys, at $20, at 52. So, I mean, these banks are way too high right now, but there's nowhere else to put your money. So I think you gotta, look at these names. I gave you the XLF a week and a bit ago. That's obviously been working. You wouldn't have to pick a stock, but they've all been working. So I think you got to stick with something like the WFC that's broken above here at 53. So you're going to open the day around $53. The high is just put in today, I guess, or yesterday at 53.20. So and that was that today? Yeah, 53.16 was today. So again, you have some levels to play off of here. Back into 52. So I like WFC here on the daily chart. We see it faded back into 52 at the close yesterday. That was, well held if you did that. Back up to 53 today. So again, I'm going to try to be specific. We talked about that right here on our sticky note today. Let's wait. Like we learned our lesson yesterday, right? We got in too early on some names, and we had to wait now for new levels to come in. So let's wait to see if that comes through today. We have some levels here. We're waiting for Disney and things like that. We'll put this into the chat so you guys can check it out. But for right now, WFC, I like this play, but it has to come back in a little bit, like 52.50, something like that. I don't have my bids in yet, but I think that's, it's not a horrible start. The only thing that I'm nervous about is I already know I'll be long like various tech names, so if the market rallies, so I wonder if tech is strong today, the banks give up a little bit. So that's where I'm interested in some lower levels, but it could go the other way, right? Tech weak again and bank strong. So just play within your levels, and I think you'll be fine. So with that being said, I am going to start a bid right now, in this 40 to 50 area for WFC, and hope that we get something off the open.
Speaking of tech, Netflix just popping up here, 2%, not a lot of volume, but a little bit of volume came in here. Down 2%, JP Morgan cutting their price target on Netflix this morning. Worth mentioning as far as relative strength is concerned, the amazing strength in Ford specifically, but also GM after the announcement yesterday of the Silverado. Yes, they both sold off into the close with the overall market, but we had the new Silverado unveiled yesterday at CES, if you missed it. So worth watching these two. I mean, pretty active here for both Ford and GM once again this morning.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know, if you're a fan of the show and you've been watching it for the last year or so, that I'm a big fan of this Ford trade. And, it's been about a triple up for me on this trade. You're up to $24 again. The thing I look at from yesterday, I'm not even going to look. I mean, we can do this over and over again, but Ford, it's been just a huge move. This is multi-decade high at this point. So it's off to the races. And, again, like that Palantir level that we were trading off of until it broke, and we'll talk about that obviously as we go. But 23.50 right here seems to be a spot that it's held now twice. It's not like this is a huge level or anything like that, but it's held this 23.50 right here on Ford. I think there's much more upside in this name. I do not think this name is done whatsoever. I hold GM and I hold Ford. GM is a good price, but that's in the 40s. I mean, my Ford price is in the teens or lower. So it's been a good one here, as that's my average price. But you can see this 23.50 is a level of concern. So that's all. So we'll wait to see if that comes through today. That's a level that I like. And then if you look at the minute chart, I don't know if I want to take a 24 break right now. But, if the market rallies, which we'll see. The Dow is up right now. The S&P, we talked about that. The S&P is basically flat. Actually, I don't know what the Dow's up. I saw someone say it was up 80 points or so. But, Ford will go with the market, and we'll just see what happens through $24. So I don't want to push the long right now, but we are waiting back near 23.50. And if 23.50 breaks, this time we're going to be disciplined and we're just going to get out at 23.50. And if it's a bad wick or if we need to get back in, we'll do that. But again, not a day to average in and hope that some of your names come back.
Yeah, and just quickly for GM, I mean, 2 days in a row with, I want to say almost no success, with the exception of the open. The close 2 days ago, and then most of yesterday for GM at that high, which is now 66 and chase 66 and a half. We're looking shorted. If it gets up there, I'll probably look to do that again. I got like 60 to 61 if it ever gets back there for some support. It is pretty decently set up for a break here at the high, but again, I just don't have the feel for the breakout on this name. I think it should be more of a jam, and I like 60 to 61, which is too far away necessarily in this trade. I think that was completely.
Hey guys, we got a super chat from Matt.S. I put half my life savings into AMD at 137.49 yesterday. Do you see this as a potential swing trade, or is better to scrap it? Do you guys think that AMD at 137.49 is a good level?
Have your life saved?
Okay, so like the first thing before we even get about talking stock, like if by simply saying half your life savings, by definition, I don't think you can class like that's not swing trading. Like if you put half your life savings into something, that's a gigantic overweight investment that gets like swing trading for that amount like seems a little bit. And again, everyone's situation is different. So I can't comment on. That wouldn't make sense to me in this environment after what happened yesterday, right? Like it just like if you're swinging something like that, that means that you have a stop and you're probably looking at some close support here, and you can handle it, maybe back down to like a 130 level. You're like, oh, I just cut my bait. Otherwise, if it gets back to the 50 period, bingo, bango, bongo, get a couple of days of rally, and you've got yourself a swing. But for half your life savings, like that I don't necessarily get. I can see why you'd want to try to catch a bounce on it. Just sort of looking at the daily chart, you got yourself a stop. But I don't mind the name. I just that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably rhetorical, but you don't look. If you want to put half your life savings into a stock, I mean, I got to support it on AMD, but at the same time, anything can happen in the market, man, and you don't want. Half of everything you built. I mean, look, if you're 10 years old and you have a lot of life in front of you, you can take this money back. But there's no way that I would dump anything like that into one of these names. If you see something like that, I would prefer an ETF. That way you're not like I'd prefer the SMH rather than AMD. And just if you're going to upsize your investment, because one single name could break on anything, right? News could come out that their chips maybe their last batch of GPUs or whatever faulty. I don't know. They could get downgraded overnight. They could come in the next day and it's down 5%, right? And again, I think it's just like I saw that story about about 3 or 4 years ago that there's one dude, I think from California, that put his whole life, not half, all of it into Bitcoin. And now the dude is like a millionaire, okay? So there are going to be plays where you can YOLO whatever you want. That's why, free market, you're allowed to put your money into something. But there's no way that I would have done that. And then you gave a $5 super chat, okay, we're still covering it anyways. But the idea here would be that if you're going to do that, and it seems like that's the question, I would drop it off at this level here. Like if you break below 134 on this, take your like 2 or 3% hit and get out. That means, in that case, I don't mind that as a strategy. If you're going to put the money in there right now and you're going to be long, then you just got to have it out. That's it. So as a strategy, I actually don't mind it if you have the out. So have your out, and I got to reward people that are gamblers and that honestly want to take that risk, because otherwise you're gonna, we can all remain sheep and just sort of. I mean, look, I'm a value investor, right? I don't put anything. I hold like 40 names, right? So I mean, I don't do this kind of a trading. But if you're gonna do it, I say good on you, man. We have traders on the floor here that will literally lose 300%, 500%, 1,000% of their stock, right, on one trade. That's not what I do. But if it pays off in the long run, and maybe you've made plays like this before, just have your risk, have your out. Thank you for the super chat.
All right, let's continue along. Walgreens, guys, raising their full-year sales forecast, full-year revenue forecast as well, pointing to the increased demand for COVID-19 testing throughout the U.S. So, I mean, this thing's already been on a pretty impressive move. Decent numbers here off earnings as well. I mean, this is going back to the beginning of December. We were all the way down here at 44 for WBA.
Yeah, they got like a dozen days in a row or something like that it's already been to the upside. We just sort of talked about this in the afternoon, maybe also at the end of the show yesterday. Probably in the afternoon for sure, though, that you were getting right up close to the 67, and that expected them to beat, and with maybe some rotation coming in, that this would be the name that would be a candidate to maybe bounce off of that high on pretty low volume this morning. Like it was already right up there at 56.5 and sort of slid down. So, I mean, it's on the radar just to quickly see it and try to build from the top and then profit taking happens. But that would have been, if it was a little bit closer to the top, that 56 half, that 57 area, I think it would almost be a bit of a no-brainer. I love the name, and I think it's probably going to work this year. Not probably, I think it's going to work this year as a name that you want to be in. But it's been on that run, and a lot of times you see that sort of sell the news kind of event. And if there is any kind of a bounce back rally, which could happen in tech, I would expect something like a Walgreens to have some profit takers in it, so that you can get the money that's been made out of that, and then try to find some deals. Like I'm sure there's shareholders of people that look at sort of Pepsi or IBM that would be thinking the same thing after the run they've been on. If tech comes back even for a day or two, there's going to be some opportunities. So Walgreens, wish the volume was better. I would probably take a shot risk reward if it hadn't already dropped $1, but that's essentially what you would be trying to capture on the trade.
You know what? Like, honestly, I was reading. That's not you, Paul, but look, I want to. I was thinking about that super chat again, and honestly, you know what? If you have that out, like I don't actually. If you have an out like that, I can't. I can't really fault, honestly, that kind of a play. I mean, I think that it's going to be the only risk that I have in a play like that is just the overnight risk, because I think there's enough, obviously, liquidity in AMD that you can get out if the bottom falls out of this thing. And again, like, some of us lose. Like, I don't know if you mentioned there on that. Like, I'm kind of interested in this now, because I think that in this kind of an environment, you do have a chance to hit quite a nice home run right now. If you do have that risk management, and if you're going to use 133 or 134 or something like that as your out, then honestly, I forget what the price was that you put in there.
138,
whatever it was. Yeah, so I mean, that makes it a little bit worse, because then you're going to lose $5. But again, if you put in $500,000 here, we can just do the math and figure out what percentage $5 down on 136 is. But it's only like 3 and a little bit percent. So, hey, you know what? The NASDAQ, like if you told somebody yesterday I'm going to put in half my life savings into the Qs, right? And people on the chat and myself be like, oh, be diversified. Well, that would be. That's taking the NASDAQ, you're taking 100 top stocks in the NASDAQ and putting your life savings in it. Well, yesterday you lost 3%, right? So, I mean, if you think the market's going to rebound, I don't know if this is the right time to do it, but, the more I think about it, it's not as bad as I thought if you have that mentality, and that's about all that I have to say. Like, you don't want to YOLO your life savings and hold it down to $100 or anything like that. You don't want to lose that 40%. But, I think all of us can afford a little bit, especially if it's in, some kind of we have a tax-free savings account here, but, if it's in a decent account, I actually don't even mind that place. So, the more I think about it, it's all about risk management, right? And we do the same thing here on the floor. And like that example that I gave about putting on an upsized risk position. As long as you have an out and you understand the downside, then I don't even really mind that there, Matt, or whoever that was, with that super chat. So thank you for participating. What's up to Mike, man? I love the show. They tell you it might not work, but they'll try it. Yeah, exactly. So I tried that Ears trade. I only said that I like the 750 for a short. And then once it blew back there, you know, no problem. But anyways, I was in that trade, told you guys why. And then AMC, hey, what's up, AMC? We like that. Retail investor will gather the people to fight the U.S. stock market manipulation. Yeah, let's go. Let's fry up those stock market manipulators right here and barbecue those guys up. What's up to all our AMC fans out there? Yesterday was a very rough ride for you. And today may not be too much better, but I wanted to know the $40 level. I was looking at this last night and just thinking, like, you know, is there some kind of a defense that's going to be happening pretty strong here? You do have a nice green candle. This is just a daily chart. When we got down here to 24, they bumped it huge back to 30. So in the last 10 days, 9 of them have been red here on AMC. So again, I don't want to say like everybody unite here and let's get on the AMC train. Because if you just go back a year today, this is Jan 6, right? It might be hard to find that. We were still at last year. Jan 6 is right here. AMC, this is, I was actually in calls just because it was a $2 level. I had no idea this was going to happen. But, you know, it was $2.26 or so on January 6th. I mean, it could be, well, we're talking pennies there anyways. And today you're at $22. So you're basically still 10x from last year. Obviously, I can't be like supporting people that have still held it. I support you for your decision, your money, but I think most people probably would have got something out around here, if not even in the 30s. But if you're still holding on, hey, this isn't horrible, man. The times have changed. Like, you can trash talk AMC up here. Like, when it was going parabolic, sure. Obviously, all of us know it's not a value play. It's not based on valuation or anything like that. I know it's really funny, right? We don't even have theaters open in Ontario, okay? No, they might be opening a theater, but right now you cannot go in to a theater in Brampton right now. They're closed. Doors closed. So, you know, I think, and what I'm getting at here is AMC on a reopen. You know, hot movies coming out. We've already seen Spider-Man. You know, there's a chance for this thing to rally. So I do think there is a bull case for AMC. Thank you for the super chat.
Quickly, I just want to, only because of what I'm seeing on GameStop, I have to bring it up. It got crushed yesterday, obviously from 148 down like $20 on top and bottom. But if you look at the low in the afternoon, the last hour, it was right here at 133. Take a quick look at the consolidation on volume. Like, it's kind of ridiculous, but there's clearly, it's not a lot of volume, but anytime you see barcoding like this, it kind of gives you that opportunity for a bit of a breakout. So I'm just seeing this and saying to myself, like 133.20, Lucas, you take that property for like a 133, even the risk to reward gets pretty juicy. And those are the kind of things that traders will look for without necessarily endorsing, oh yeah, buy and hold GameStop. But yeah, it's just a little bit of interesting price action on GameStop this morning on the barcoding with a very, very defined top and bottom.
All right, let's talk about Datadog here quickly. I want to make sure we get to Bed Bath & Beyond, so maybe we can jump through both of these at the same time. Datadog announcing aftermarket yesterday a new deal with Amazon Web Services, so AWS. Datadog got big time on that, 2.5% here in the free market, but not doing a heck of a lot, stuck between 148 and 150. Bed Bath & Beyond, lower, was lower as we saw right off the bat, if you saw it, or if you joined us at 8:30. Missing by a quarter on EPS. Revenue is also lower than expected. It's the first company, though, guys, that I've heard or seen come out and comment saying their supply chain issues actually accelerated going into December.
I don't know, like everyone else you're hearing sort of like the opposite, that we could be coming out of this, and I know it's part of the core, but it was a bit of a concerning thing. I tried it twice, one time actually missing my stop, I'll show you here, and be short and miss my stop at 75. Thankfully it wasn't for as many shoots as possibly could have been, and then I shorted till yesterday's support, and that was like that 1330. I was short in front of it, was just 13, and that stopped out. It then took out 15, and this is the way that you should probably safer play something with a short interest like this, is actually wait for it to turn past the key level, and 15 is the key level. You go right back into, if you go back to 15-minute chart, allow it to break a level like this, fail to get through the next high, and then once it fails, then you take your scalp. So if I did that like the second time through, if it was down here, I'd be saying, yeah, look for a 1380 break because it's put in that continuation bottom. That's a bit of a different story. Try it at 15 even. I think that's what a lot of people are going to be looking at here. If it had only gone one level, I'd probably go long. It's gone two. that kind of leads me to like sitting it out and hoping for there's an opportunity to short it higher. But if I do so, it's got to be the safer structure, not to stand in front of the level, but to allow the level to break and fail and come back to the downside. Like that's the safer way to play something when it's a squeezable name or when it's a low float name, and not to stand in front of the moving train, but allow it to come back down through a key level like that. Quickly before we go to Brendan, oh, never mind. Brendan's going to talk about this one.
I just want to talk about this guy Amar here on the chat. Like, this is exactly, and I'm glad we're having this talk here. Do you think putting your monthly savings in S&P 500 and dividend ETFs is a good idea? I'm a student and planning to do that for the next 10 to 15 years. So, yes, sir, that is exactly, in my opinion, what I'm teaching my kids right now as we speak, to do exactly that. And it's by high-quality companies, especially if you're a student, man. And this is the key thing, next 10 to 15 years. So if you want to invest in something, man, the S&P 500 and, whatever dividend ETF you want. I don't know if you want to get into an S&P 500 dividend-based ETF or whatever, but that is exactly the right thing to do. If you are young, just either pick the high-quality companies like Microsoft, Apple, things like that, or banks, whatever, or go into the S&P 500 or the Qs, or, and if you want to get a little bit risky on this one, Amar, you can go like 75% SPY, or like, it's not that risky, 60% SPY, maybe 20% Qs, and 20% R, something like that if you wanted to get a little bit more upside. But right now, ears, we see you, ears, as you're starting to go right back up to the upside right now. 860 here on new high, I believe. Anyways, why is my 1 minute chart still on AMC? I have no idea. Yeah, it's trying to approach right now that 880 with only 4 minutes to go here. Let's see where this goes off the open. I'm just holding this at this point. We've already made the money down here. It was a good reload at 8, but here we go. Ears, keep your ear to the ground for this one.
Yeah, lots of room on that if it wants to continue along. FRLN, another one popped up in the pre-market here on Positive News. This one, however, very, very weak. Continues to be on daily time frame. We're just getting back to 3, and then 325 above that. You can go all the way back to 5 if you really want to get a lot higher. So just going to watch 3, which is just above us now, and then 325, which is essentially the day high. But this thing was down around 180 yesterday for FRL.
Yeah, I was going to mention it, and then I thought Brendan was going to talk about it as well. So I scalped them out. I just put a different approach when that consolidation. I always try to scalp them out at the beginning. I'm also sitting here for a potential pop. Like if it does pop in to this VWAP 290 level, then I'll try to play it. I actually traded this like when I sat down right off that same price level in front of $3. Reversed into a long, but as usual, I didn't really hold very long. And once it's back below, it's to the same plan. Fail break at 3, and then you go back to lower consolidation. So that's that one in a nutshell for me. Just a reminder that ATHE was also on our watch list. Actually, ATHE is not in the watch list, actually, I'm pretty sure. But here we go. I always say this caution at that dollar level, pretty obvious to see. Anytime a stock or penny stock tries to get back above, it was only down there for like about a month or just over a month. They run into those delisting problems, and then when new catalyst comes through, there is some incentive to try to hold it above. And currently, it's holding that $1 level. So I basically have nothing left. If it bounces off $1, I'd only reload right at the top, like not at 105, not at 110, up at like 115 in front of 120, or at 125 in front of 130, anticipating that the dollar bounce at the open usually has a little bit of juice to it there. So that's just for trading penny stocks. I'm also looking at, if you're watching the afternoon show yesterday, Peloton is still at that $32 level, or close enough to that $32 level that it made it below. It held it after the Fed came through. You've got a low, basically the same thing right now with pennies away from it. That's a break I'm looking to take, but it's pretty fine. If I get into that break, the pre-market high is my out. Plain and simple. If it breaks down, I'll take 32 short, but I'm not letting it get past the pre-market high, because if any of these names reverse today, like that is something you do not want to be averaging into, I don't think, because it could get really, really ugly really fast. So if the momentum stays to the downside, fine. If you've got yourself a good short, but you got to have it out if you're trying to short bottoms like this Peloton. When you look at the daily chart of Peloton, it's like, look how far you're going to go back. These are some crazy levels that you're at in the stock. Or to reverse, 10% is nothing in the grand scheme of things, but that was a mistake. Day traded short 32. too. You don't want to lose up.
Watch out here, NASDAQ obviously cracking lower right now. I don't know, big move down. We're nowhere near anymore that 16,000. So we'll wait to see here what happens with the NASDAQ. Starting to crack 15.7 right now. Broke through there, so we'll have to watch out for the NASDAQ right now, getting a little nasty. The only bid that I have, okay, so Lucid's all the way up. I was going to say, I do have some low bids. Oh, one thing we need to talk about SoFi with only a minute to go here. Yeah, about SoFi. I'm waiting for a little lower on this name as well. I think it's going to be hands off for the first little bit here as the market opens up. SoFi, again, just 10 cities in the last couple of days, way back down into the low, all-time low here on SoFi. Obviously, it was a SPAC, but we'll talk about it since it's turned over. So right here, 13.50 coming into play again for SoFi. So we are waiting lower for a bid on this name. But wow, another name that's been cracked. Disney, another name that I'm waiting for lower bids. These are all on the sticky notes. So we'll wait to see, though. Disney up today, or up today, actually, 0.4. So I thought it was a little down, but no, it's not. Oh, yeah, there it goes. There's a little bit of a bump up right now for some reason up to 156. But down here to 155 on Disney. We'll see if that can come through. And then Ford, we have a dip buy as well. And then we're waiting for WFC. So we'll see if we get into anything. Right now, we'll just watch that news and see where that goes from here. But so far, so good today. Let's just wait for the countdown to drop. In about 15 seconds, the market will be open. And here we go, guys. Let's watch out for Lucid off the open.
Absolutely. Still watching that GameStop, the tight consolidation. NVIDIA for a basic fail breakdown. Miss V's on the bell in the Carolina Blue. Let's get it locked and loaded. Hope for recovery. 2-1. There we go. Market is open. I mean, right now, I'm still staring at that GameStop only because you don't really see consolidations like that too often. It's trying to take out that top at 133. Oh my goodness, did it get there? Yeah, I didn't even. It just spiked to 135, 136 instantly. Is it going to come back? Yeah, I was able to get like 133.50 there. That's crazy because that was real, by the way. Like the spread on GameStop opened up to literally like almost like $5 on not $5, like $3 on GME. Spread there, but the consolidation was absolutely real. I'm gonna see if I can't scalp them out for like $1.50 on this, but crazy move. It was just some weird consolidation on this name. Peloton broke that low of the day. I just rang the register on some of that GameStop. So again, the consolidation was everything. It was just about the price action. And then Ecom through that 32, so going in the other direction. This is it. It actually just smoked 32 all out, so you can see in perspective. Goes down to 31.60 and has the snap back. If this takes out the pre-market high, I'm out of this thing. Like, there's no way I want that reversal hanging around my neck.
All right, let's look out for this YOLO trade here as right now AMD coming back up to the upside. So a nice little trade here for AMD on the day, man. Up that 1%. So there we go. A nice little move and a nice runner here for AMD. As it's starting to go upside. This might be a fade though, as AMD, like it shouldn't be going up like this, but look at the NASDAQ, it's starting to go. Look at Mr. Softy, we're into Lucid right now as well. MSFT, Softy going to the downside. That's what I want to look at right now, down to 314 here now for Microsoft. So this stock going the opposite way right now of what the NASDAQ is doing. Robinhood down to 15 and change, getting cracked on Robinhood. And then, wow, Microsoft's really getting it down to the downside right now. Obviously, if there's some key levels, but we are into right here off of is Lucid. I mean, obviously it's open, it's a NASDAQ name, but that's quite a big spread there for them. We'll see where Lucid goes now, but we are long this name back at 36.11, trying to play off that 35. I think it was 35.50 or so. Here it is right here. Yeah, 35.50 on Lucid. We don't want to hold it too far past that. So it's a big day today. Just hold your shares and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at the spreads on GameStop. It's crazy. Like, it's maintaining. Even though we're open a couple of minutes now, it's maintaining these monster spreads up here. I'm going to try and take it out in front of the high. Like, it's just, look, to me, that's a gift horse. It's a simple consolidation break. If it's going to feed me like $3 or $4, I'll let other people try and diamond hands, a thing like that. I'm getting in, I'm getting out, I'm taking the profit. What's not going to end up working is get that Peloton. I said, you got to, well, I shouldn't jinx myself already, but If it breaks them downside through 32, I get slipped all the way to 92. If it takes out the high, like that was a pretty good wick down to have missed it. It just happened so incredibly fast that I wasn't able to capture it. Unfortunately, that's going to happen to you sometimes. I could have scalped it out if I was a little bit faster. Was managing other names. That ACAG that I talked about, if it bounces off the dollar, be patient. It bounces all the way into that high. Wait until it comes back down. It fails to get through. Like even the 1/4 comes back down below that 120 mark that I like. I short 118. It's already headed to 110. If you can't figure by now, get some out in front of $1, anticipating that it could still want to hold that level. This is what penny stocks do. That number is something that a lot of people like to defend. Plus, because it's an obvious, if we take a long on it at 1 or 2, where's your out going to be? It's pretty obvious.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Lucid. Okay, so Lucid was the one that just dropped off actually down through. This could be one that we take long now. Let's just wait to see what does happen with Lucid. We want to check back on Rivian. SoFi, we got that bid down here, so we like that trade. Let's see if SoFi wants to work back up to the upside right now. Here it goes. So we're long at 76 here on SoFi. Hopefully this one wants to continue its move up through 14. Was that Brenda? What's up, bud?
A few of the chip makers, guys, pretty volatile here at the open. TSM right out of the gate. Huge volume spike back to the upside. Tested that pre-market high, but here we go back lower again. So volatility and volume to deal with in some of the chip makers.
Yeah, and of course, like this is the fault of GameStop. Well, it's my fault. NVIDIA does the pop, the fade at the bottom, don't get to the low, and then break out the high. So the reverse of that trade happens in NVIDIA, and I've missed it. I'm going to look to see if I can catch any kind of a victory, because the reversal is what you want. I'm not going to complain. GameStop was pretty good. The second I saw that setup, feels like consolidation. You almost have to have it there, but if I can try to catch a bid back in front of that breakout, instead of 15 pops, again, that's what you want.
Yes, sir. Right now, SoFi, guys, off to the races here with a big win coming here on SoFi, taking out that Lucid loss. Let's go back over to Lucid quickly and see. We said we'd be very, very patient. Yeah, see Lucid way back up. Like, again, there we go. Made that bottom wick, so good for me on that one. Let's just go long Lucid again here, but wow, did we make a mistake on that one? Like, we basically have that bottom, but it breaks 50, and that's that. And then we also sniffed out. That's too bad. Oh, well, whatever. We said we would try to be patient today with some of the trades, but that broke our level. So there it goes. And I smelt out Microsoft this morning and didn't take the long because we were in the other longs, but that was a worker for sure as Microsoft hits that bottom and now comes right back up. So, yeah, man, the market is rocking right now. Good trading. SoFi, I mean, #1 stock there. Here, I don't know, not really doing much here, but we're right back to where we got out. So we'll have to wait to see what Ear wants to do right now. Again, over at the big desk.
Nikola making moves, guys. Another order coming through for Nikola today. 10% to the upside. Held 10 there at the open on that dip lower, ripping now back higher for NKLA.
It's the same across the board. We're just saying it's all the same thing here. It's like fail to break the bottom, snap back up, and break out. It's like, what's the point of these things? I'm not going to be in any of these trades. A firm at $80. NVIDIA just went as well. What hasn't gone, which I'm going to go for, which I'm going to pull up right now, is, there we go, Tesla. Like, Tesla did have the dip at the open, tried to break out to the top, and then couldn't go. So, this one still might be in play if we're going to actually continue this. And Tesla, like I said yesterday, Tesla is a little bit of its own beast, but if it can reclaim this high, maybe take out a 185, I might try and break out on Tesla here. If only because it's the only thing that hasn't really gone yet that presents you with an opportunity for a recovery. Now, obviously, when you trade Tesla, understand that, you're not talking about $1 or $2. It's $5, $10 type.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about all the time, guys, with risk management, right? There's nothing that's more important, obviously, than risk management. So you gotta try to manage your positions and just be smart with everything that you're doing here. With that being said, okay, we've managed a little bit of risk here on SoFi, taking out. Again, I think only half. So I was taking out a half on SoFi there. Ford, and again, this is what we're trying to do, man. We're trying to be a little patient here. Ford comes down right into that level. They did make a move to the upside. It's getting pretty spicy down here. We're long in the 60s. Ford, maybe a dip down here below 50. So that's going to be the out. If Ford takes out 50, we're going to be out on that one. I'd hate to miss this one, but we are long right now on Ford. So this is a decent spot for me. Let's see if it can go back up to the upside. Ford, ear moving around. SoFi, and we're into Palantir as well for a small spot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, not quite at the point where GM would start to hit that cluster. I like in GM at 60.5 to 61. It's getting pretty close. It's not quite there yet. This FRLN is starting to actually continue to absolutely flush. And the recent high was down here to about 215. I think that's the ultimate out. So that's what I'm going to have to look for. That ATHG, which I was in, which I'm still in actually, on that pop, right back in, right back down to 105 and then finds another bottom. So if it tries to break back out, there's no averaging in. Bounces off $1 enough times, you do not want to be averaging into it, just sort of prolonging the death. We're just going to continue to try to take profit down here at like 4s, 5s, and 6s the best we can, and if it takes out the top, just run away from that stock. Tesla did just pull back a little bit here, so might have missed out on that opportunity. And like I said with Peloton, didn't want to get trapped. It was a fail breakdown short. Get out of it. Did not get the reversal. I don't like the long chasing at $1. I'd much rather do that in a better name. Like I'd do that in a chip maker.
Yeah, exactly. Here goes Ford, man. Yes, sir. Big trade here for me on Ford. A nice move to the upside. We definitely, this is my biggest position of the day down there. We try to take the strong names, put them on the board, and then hit those. So unfortunately, I put an offer here on SoFi, but we didn't get it. I put it at 15 on the way back down. I didn't even realize we went all the way to 25 there. Now that I look at a chart, man, this is the problem with when you're doing what we're doing. It's hard to sort of keep your eyes on everything now, but I am looking at Ford right now, up in the 80s. Oh man, I wish. This is what I mean about having no diamond hands here, because if I just had held all of this, then that would be that for the day. But right now, Ford, a big time move to the upside. Really, really happy with cashing in on that. What worked yesterday, maybe not working today. Look at IBM. Down again, not again, down today, only that 1%, but you can see starting to fade out a little bit. We talked about, being a big winner in the last little while here for IBM, but now today, I guess, people rotating back in, maybe, I don't think the rotation's here yet, but maybe rotating back in. Okay, so Palantir just dumped again, so we did take a long there in Palantir, not a very big one, but it is dumping back down. Watch out for the 1670. We're talking about being patient. Wow, Ford. Okay, Ford. Beautiful move up into the 90s now, but Palantir, the opposite right now, getting slapped down. We're going to find some longs. What's up over there at the desk?
BBBY just making day highs here as well on volume there. I guess it was 1550. Had some volume go off. And there goes 16 as well. Now 20%, guys, for a setback.
It just put a wick top. I was watching ear because that's starting to roll over a little bit, and then of course Bed Bath & Beyond breaks 16. I'm looking to see if it can hold a bid. Right now, it's a bit of a battle before I would want to jump in and try and scalp that long trade. If it snaps back down, I think, like I said, like the safer way to play for it is to try to get it on the way back in. Tesla, by the way, reversed off of that high. So it looks like it's not breaking imminently here. That's actually coming back down a little bit. Looks like it's going to be, they're holding the bid here on Bed Bath & Beyond. So it's going to be worth it trying to try here. And again, sometimes you can have a 1s, no 2s. I just wanted to see if there were buyers holding it up here a little bit longer before I try to jump into the fray. I don't think you're necessarily giving it up anyway, so about 15.75. The other name now that I'm into this, finally got it. Ear just rolled over through 750. If it bounces and tries to get back up into VWAP here, for like $7.80 to $8, I'll probably try shorting it. But this one might have already gotten away from me, because I think I might have missed the rollover when it broke that 780 level.
And guys, like, what in the heck right now? We come flying in with Ford. Wow! Unbelievable movement here for Ford. That name just on one today. Up big time here on this trade. I don't even know what to say about this other than wow, as Ford just keeps on making that move all the way to the upside, man. We have this. We have the very bottom in this name, so making my Lucid dump off seem a little bit better now, as basically we have 10 times the shares in Ford that we do in Lucid. So just to give you an idea there, what we did have, we don't have anymore. SoFi is disappointing because I missed that bump up. Should have had that. That's another name. And then we did get back into Palantir, so we were long there on Palantir at 88, and we just took a low 2 bit out there. So making a little bit of money back on this name, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get out of the rest of Ford. We still have a third of this Ford trade as it just motors on to the upside. Mr. Wiggins?
The money being put to work, it would appear, guys. Adobe just popping up here. Individual names that don't usually pop up on volume scanners popping up this morning. Adobe on the move here. Up I didn't get filled on GM, but that's making it. Look, Tesla's now coming back.
back towards that high. BBBY, Bed Bath & Beyond is trying to make that push. If it gets past that 38 high currently, I want to take some out in front of 50s and then reevaluate every quarter, every 50. The next thing I want to go back to is Tesla. Looked like it was going to break, then slammed to the bottom. I pulled my stop because I don't like having stop breakout orders when it's too far away from price. Now it's heading right back up to that 1085 level up at the top. I see a wick in that. My high today says 1088, but I think 85 legitimately is the high. So I'm going to look for that to break.
And there's Palantir again, man. So we're, got beat up early on this stock. There it is. Come on, Cappy. Let's go, Cappy. Right there to the upside there. But we'll see what happens now. Yeah, easy money today for sure. I missed it though. We put that on 42% short flow, man. It is on the sticky note today. All about that. And thank you also. Thank you to Mookie Wilson for putting this on the sticky note. This is pretty good. Little movement here, some nice little head movement there on that. But you can see the Soul Train is back in the building. Violent pre-market. I said take the pre-market break. But unfortunately, we were too busy into this, and you can see Bed Bath & Beyond, although the pre-market break would have been right here at 15.60. That would have given you about $1. Watch for it to pull back down now as some of that excitement may be over with. I am still in awe of this forward trade. Not often do I hold things that go this fast, like this far this fast. So really, really happy. We did just get some out of the 18s there on board. No surprise it pulls back. Let's take another piece out here maybe as it is starting to pull back in. We are very light on this thing now, but still nicely working. Palantir is another one that's 10 cents. But SoFi right now does rip all the way to the top side there, and we didn't get anything out at the top, so that was bad. There's the 15 that we talked about. I didn't even realize it went all the way up there, but that would have been a monster out to take that. So we'll see if it can get back upside. I think if it takes out 25, then maybe we can get back up, but I want to see some more action there. 14.35 would be another punch log here on SoFi. I don't even want to reload. I'm happy to beat this thing. Right now, there goes Palantir. Finally, let's go Palantir. Let's go strike that one back to day's high. What's up, Pete?
Another one bouncing here, guys. Beyond Meat from yesterday was under my chart, not moving. But if you're looking yesterday, big move down, as did the rest of these. But just taking out day highs here for Beyond Meat.
Yeah, just quickly looking here. Just, by the way, Tesla, its close was at 188 there. So that bad print was probably just yesterday's close. I don't think I'm doing anything till it moves at least $5. I look at yesterday's range, at least in the afternoon, the 15-minute, and I look at that 1100, and I think that's like the reasonable target. So you want to hold on to what I said. You can't think about $2 when trying to make a play like this. So I'm going to stick to that rule. That ATHE, however, whoops. Remember we talked about this breaking that, or not breaking that dollar level? It does not. We were able to get some out at 105. It's now looking like it wants to pick up the top. I'm not going to let this thing sort of break the back above 125. If it gets above that price, I'll try to reevaluate it at that particular point. Just looking back over at NVIDIA, it continues its break, but it's starting to consolidate a little bit, and the market's starting to turn. So if there's going to be a chance for a dip, and this is going to be a true rally, I think that's going to come in the next couple of minutes. Looking for the test back to 279.50, not 280 on it.
And a great job there. I was just reading some of the chat here. Goldman, what's up? Talking about straight to the upside goes Facebook. A shout out to you, Stephen. I believe it was Stephen Howard. You took 580 on Facebook. Absolutely fantastic, guys. Like good runs today for everybody. And I'm going to give a big congratulations to everybody out there. Let's just dap it up. One props to everybody there today as wow. So what was a nasty sort of ride yesterday? Definitely pulling off nicely today for many of us here as some of the stocks that we were sort of trying to beat down on yesterday came way back in for us. And let's just keep on trading some of these names that are working out. NVIDIA up 1.72%. You see the NASDAQ is back a little bit. The one name, what was that, Brad? Oh, Brad has his headphones on. I didn't know which stock he was
He just took them off, so I don't know. He might have heard you.
Brad, what stock you trading? Oh, buyout stock. Okay. 317, 318, 319. I was just looking at SOFI here. It's turning red, which is a strange one. This might be a fade here. So just watch out for that here on Microsoft. This might be one to fade. It's not as aggressive today as the market, so we're going to watch out for that. AMD as well is positive, but not by a whole hell of a lot. Bed Bath & Beyond running. There's my XLE again that we talked about over and over the last couple weeks there on XLE. We're in it, but I'm not in it for this much much as I want to be, but that's another name right there. Hey, if Facebook is going to start going upside, let's have a quick look at that. What about Roblox? That's another name that I want to look at here. Facebook up that 1.4. Yeah, look at that, straight to the upside. Great trade there. Whoever had that show, you, Steven, as well. What a good, what a good day this has been so far to trade. So congratulations to everybody that's made some money on the long or the shorts that apparently look to be coming back in later.
Yeah, I mean, I just got into ear for the first time. Looks like Tesla might not go. It might be the weaker name here. It's going to test that bottom. I just got a consolidation bid in there on Tesla to add to the position. As long as it holds the low, I'm going to like it. Ear is the other direction. I'm trying to short this name in front of that $8 range. Look, this got as high as $9. Like I said, it is free to short. It could end up pretty crowded when people try to short this because you don't actually have to pay for borrow. So day traders will probably be all over this. I just got a dip buy in NVIDIA as well. So I'm going to start working into that. And then I want to come back over to ATHE. As long as this one wants to fail to get through the high, now that it's failed through 125, on the way back down, it's safe to get in. Not trying in front of the train, but try to catch it on the way back to the downside.
Yeah, so let's have a quick look at Rivian. Oh, well, let's have a look at Lucid, because Lucid's the only negative stock that we have on today. And I feel like it's probably bouncing. Yeah, it's bouncing way off our low. I mean, I have the low of the day. That's embarrassing. Thank God we have the Ford long there as well. But that's a trade that's not working out today, Lucid. Let me go over to Rivian. Lucid's just too choppy. I don't like that trade. It's too choppy right there. Rivian, not choppy at all, it doesn't look like. See the difference here between Lucid and Rivian? Rivian basically straight down after making a 92 high there. Goes right back to the pre-market levels, which was Rivian. And then just collapsing downside right there. So, yeah, Rivian not having a nice day today. There's no bottoms on this name. This is already, every move down is a new all-time low for Rivian. So, yeah, we do have a bottom today, I believe. Is that today's bottom? Yeah, 84.62 right there. So if you did want to go long on this name, I'm not sure it's ready yet, but you do have that. Wow, what a crazy move that was early. Wow, that actually happened, eh? Down to 84.60 there on Rivian. So that's something to look out for right here. Roblox, yeah, man. We're long 77, and this came back in a big time hurry. Roblox, we were getting some out upside, so that's good. Like, I don't think I have half of this anymore, but wow, this has come way back in here, down to $87 from a big dump yesterday, from like 100 down to 80, down to 88 yesterday. So what is that bottom right here? 86 and change. So yeah, looking to pick up some Roblox here maybe if the market tries to battle back. But yeah, don't trade a weak name here. This NASDAQ is falling. You got to find something else.
Yeah, it's getting crushed. We're about to take up a low on Tesla, so that is one of the weakest names I can find. I just stopped out on Tesla through the low of the day, and I'm looking for something that's going to be a little bit weaker. I have a few shorts on, but those are all in small cap short territory at this point. And I'm looking to add to this. Rivian's getting crushed. I was looking at Tesla getting crushed. I'm going to go back to Peloton. Looks like it's making a bit of a turn here. If this gets back down to like a 32.50, that should be the place to go. But there is a reversal happening, and I was looking over at the names that it said if those go down, you might have a bit of a bid in GM, but that's starting to roll over as well. So I'm going to cancel this bid on GM because I don't really think if it comes down to that price, I'm going to want it. That's actually almost set up for another reversal to the short side. So at this point, I'm not even liking some of these longs unless it's a more quality type of name. It would have to be a bounce in something like a GM that would entice me. I just got more shares into ATHE, more shares into here as well. ATHE, that's 120 is the top there. Erie just started to roll over. If it breaks 720, I'm looking to add to that position, not take it off. It's more about getting down to the 680 level. So I want to see 7 break. It's got a lot of room to go. It's a $4.50 stock. I think the volatility could be through the roof.
Okay, so we're just looking here at Palantir. We just reloaded back up right now on this name. Good bunch of outs here on Ford. Like we mentioned, take that momentum. And I said, I couldn't believe that I was still holding on to such a decent amount of that trade as it was ripping to the upside. But then we get conservative and get out, and now we have literally 10% left on this one. And there again, there's another one. We're not diamond handing everyone. I hit the wrong button there, but we are. right here, guys, on Palantir. That's a reload that we're pretty happy with. We just took a decent position again down here at 1680, playing off some of these bottoms. I realize this is the bottom, but if we break 1680, then we're out. We're just cashing in, man. Cash, cash, cash. That's all we can really do right now is try to, find the right plays, try to cash in on them. So here goes upside on Palantir. If the market wants to rally, we've got it. If not, we're trying to scalp a little bit out now anyways. So Palantir, a nice little trade here for me. Brendan again.
Stitch Fix having a nice day as well, guys. They announced a new, wait for it, there it is, buyback, 150 million in share buyback from SFIX today, up 5%.
Stitch Fix, it's an interesting name. I'm more looking at that NVIDIA, looking for something a little bit more quality to catch a bid. Like we said, if you can try something off of that low, Tesla was just a watershed. It's down at 1050 right now, so that was a failed break in the other direction. NVIDIA is actually trying to climb back to the upside, so I think the chips are a bit safer place to get back in. So hopefully, I haven't checked AMD, but I'm going to guess for our friend who did that super chat, might have a decent chance. We hold some of these lows and still get NVIDIA because that's what I'm trading. Decent chance you might be able to bank on that one. And if you're using it as a swing, which like we said is probably a better way to go about that kind of a thing, when you're going for half your life savings, that's what I would try to do. I would try to take that profit. One of the names that I'm very, very interested in is going to be in the healthcare sector. Daily chart is an absolute mess. Just watching a break on a stock DHR that I really like. If it comes back up to like 305, I think that could put in a false break. 295 is good support on this particular one. It's been selling off pretty heavily. I think healthcare is taking a bit of a beating, and there's going to be some deals to be had in the upcoming days.
Okay, here we go, guys. Yeah. Danaher, that's surprising. It's down that low.
3 days ago.
Yeah, you don't really afford it. You don't really get too many moves like that. So yeah, that's probably a good value. You've been talking about that for a bit. So Danaher, yeah, and again, diversify your bonds. Get some different plays in there with Wu-Tang Financial and get into that. So Baba come down. Okay, we will look at Alibaba, but okay, one more time. Right here for SoFi. So SoFi, so good today, but not so far so good. What was that? Ooh, Rivian down to 85 from the man, the legend himself. Trader Pratt is in the building. Throw Trader Pratt on the screen here. Let's give a big shout out to Trader Pratt for shouting out some names. There he is. What's up? Yeah. Look at that focus face. Yeah, let's go, Trader Pratt. That's his business face right there, guys. So Trader Pratt looking at Rivian. Let's go over there and have a quick look again. Thank you, Pratt, for that. Wow.
That's crazy.
Okay, Rivian. No profits, no trucks, no problems for Rivian, but I know they have some in production. But there we go, man. Today is not, and we talked, you can go back, man. We put out videos in December, early December, saying that, 2022, you don't want to be. As soon as I heard Powell come out, we all did, not just me, but when we all heard what Powell was talking about, it was not the year of growth stocks. And right now, Rivian continuing to get pummeled, breaking through 85. Thank you to Mr. Trader Pratt there for that shout out. Adios, Rivian. Adios.
Yeah, and if you want to look at something which is going to be on the other end of the spectrum, there was earnings on a name which is a little bit different from some of these. Walgreens, of course, is on the NASDAQ. Neil, I don't know why I always think it's on New York. But you're going to see this. Give me a break. There we go. Now it's going to load up. Is it actually going to load? Thank you. Walgreens getting a bit of a bid here, so I'm looking for places that I like alongside of a trade. Walgreens on earnings is a more defensive type of name here. The pullback was profit taking off of this high at 57, and it was on such a good run. But you've got a bit of a wick bottom as well that holds some pretty good support down at 52. So if I got to try to bottom pick something, I think I like this a little bit better. NVIDIA is trying to hold up. It's holding the low for now. 75, 76 is low on NVIDIA. So that's where the line in the sand is going to be drawn. I think Walgreens is going to be a similar type of play. We're getting close to that $8 level in that year, so time for reload on.
Ooh, $8 on ear. Okay, maybe we'll just take that profit out now because we've been sitting in this for a while here. Yeah, that's a good out. I think I'll probably take this on ear right now as it just touched the UOP right there again. We'll just take the profit out. Ear's been obviously a good trade for us, but not a heavy one. It's just been sort of sitting there for me. Just trying to see if it wants to explode one more time, but it did bounce off that 730. Yeah, maybe we'll hold it a little bit. We'll see. Here, I guess my Bed Bath & Beyond's not getting filled down there at 1280 or whatever I had it on. Quick check out here on that name. Ooh, maybe. Nice little dump off back in for Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't want to go long now based on the short. The shorts already took this upside where I guess shorts getting blown out, down 42%. The short is written down there, so we missed that trade. But there it goes all the way back up to the upside. All right, so I guess I don't have stocks so far. Oh, you're just faded back in. Yeah. So there goes here back fading in. SoFi back down to 1350. This is the low. So let's punch one more ticket longer and get out at 1350. SoFi not working. And I just said, why do you want to be in companies that don't make money? And that again, here I am trying to maybe bottom pick this SoFi. Well worth the risk reward here. 5 cents worth of risk to see if SoFi gets back upside. I'm taking this trade.
Yeah, by the way, ear just popped up into VWAP. It didn't break 8. It gets to VWAP, doesn't break 8. That's the rollover that I'm looking to try to add in. I didn't get it. You see how hard it flashed to the downside. I'm on the bid in this cluster at 85, 77 even. Just going to quickly show you guys the NASDAQ here. Because we are sort of bouncing back down, at least a little bit. This is a 60-minute chart. The ES, on the other hand, that's actually right back to 4,700. Sort of looking at it, ES is sort of breaking some levels, and the NASDAQ is trying to do its best to hold up. But all ships are right now starting to head back into the downside. So looks like we're just going to be weak going along out of NVIDIA. Tesla didn't work. It's the shorts that are coming in once again today. So looks like it's doing those
EVTL. Yeah, so we're just basically, we're reloading a lot of these stocks here as Ford just got reloaded again as well. We're playing off Ford can't lose, so it doesn't really matter, but we're going to wait to see 2350 coming in on Ford right now. Stock's getting clapped again, man. Snapchat 52-week low. SoFi just broke, by the way, so we gave back our profits and going to be flat on SoFi today as we tried that long and we just tried to make that base down there, but SoFi clapped as well down to the downside right now, so everything getting taken, I guess, to the woodshed right now again today, so back-to-back days here for the NASDAQ. The problem is today, honestly, the ES is also turning, so the ES is down just as much today as the NAS, so that's not good, so everyone trying to hide out today. Peekaboo, you've been found. Nowhere to hide in this market today, so we'll wait to see what happens to the upside, but I like Ford. We know Ford's been strong, so we're going to try to trade Ford. A little more action on this one. Oh, another one that's
starting to come down here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's anywhere to hide today, man, so we'll wait to see where we go, but for now, nowhere.
Yeah, that's what we're getting at here. Like I'll get to FRLN because that's like that stock, but the movers are what matter at this point. But checking back on BHC, obviously it's not going to make the breakout, so I'm not in it. But it's starting to come back in. If this can hold, I think maybe there's going to be a place to go. It's going to be trying to hold that 75 level. I'm not sure it's going to be able to do it. So I'm kind of looking at this, and then Peloton just breached. Oops, not Peloton. I actually meant a firm there. Well, they're not the same thing, but kind of the same thing. Just breached 77. Spread opened up. So like, if I can quickly show you guys the level 2. Yeah, the spread opened up below, but the offer didn't trail below 77. So no one was selling below 77, but the bid dropped into the 80s. A lot of times that can mean a little bit of a failed break, so I'm not triggered into a bottom end short. If anything, I'll try to short the pop there. I'm holding on to one long and one long only. I talked about here missing that opportunity. If it breaks here at 720, that's when I'm going to start getting some shares out. That one might be done. Like it already capitulated off the top. If then just try to capitulate off VWAP, it maybe has one more move in it. That would be holding this cluster here and then trying to bust back to the upside. If it does that, fair enough. I think it might still be able to go. But right now, it's looking like it's getting a complete market. Yeah, the NASDAQ's trying to hold up. I'm not sure it's going to be able to do it here. The ES heading down to 46.70. I think the banks are one of the last stages that we can get, that we can find some support. And then checking back in on, if I watch on my quote
EVTL.
Back in on these materials, like US Steel's about to crack $25 to the downside. So that tried to run and also faded. Nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide so far today's morning.
Yeah, no, full show right now. Yeah, right now it's been a little bit of a crazy runner here. We are into Disney right now for the first time, so we'll see if Disney can get going now. Oh my God, some of these stocks just continue to make lower lows here as we go forward. Just chilling out though at this bottom. This is a name that I like from here. Good thing we dumped out of SoFi. SoFi going to the downside now as well. So wow, what another crazy day. Welcome. I told you today's show would be great, and here we go. Happening now over there at the big screen. Let's throw it over to Big Dog Brendan.
Hey guys, yeah, At 10 o'clock, ISM Services PMI just out 67.6 versus 66.8, so lower than expected on that number this morning. Yeah, everything back in negative territory here. The S&P leading the way, 0.35, or the Dow, I should say, 0.35 for the S&P, the Dow 0.43. You can see strength in small caps here still hanging on. The Russell 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, all in positive territory. The NASDAQ, both composite and the 100, back in negative territory. Same story here in Toronto, 0.25%. Resource stocks under pressure once again, so 0.25% from the TSX. Couple of things we were discussing, guys. WBA, Walgreens back to the downside, 53, trying to hold right now, but I want to move back down right out of the gate this morning from the open. WBA under pressure after earnings. Same story for Bed Bath & Beyond. It did try, got above 16, but all the way back to where we started the morning as well for BBBY, guys.
It seems like yesterday, but this was only a half an hour ago. Like GameStop was in the consolidation break, and then look at the turn. Like I don't even know why I wasn't. Again, failed break to the upside, coming back to the downside. Should have been in the reverse to the short side. I don't know. I'm trying too many long today. Like sometimes you just got to go in the direction, and this was maybe a little bit obvious. Once it got back through that pre-market low at 130, it's gonzo. I'd short a pop here, if only because the trend is your friend, and you are now bursting through the most recent support at 125. Like this could, I mean, we could be seeing at 115, 120. Like GameStop has so much room that it could head to the downside. Nvidia is going to do this, if that just broke the low. So that's what we're doing. The market just getting absolutely clapped. I'm now just holding on to ACHE here and FRL in short, and then starting to think about where can I get in, whether it's GameStop on a pop, guys in the south side. What's the firm? That's a daily chart. The firm just went through, like it just actually held that 77 we're talking.
77?
Yes. 77 pop again.
Oh god.
Failed break to the upside, and then smacked to the downside. I mean, every chart I pull up kind of looks almost exactly the same. Not everything, but just about everything looks about the same. I'm looking over at Walgreens, which is the only thing that I'm bidding that isn't to cover short right now. And if I'm bidding something else, then I should be. And of course, it's still on the NASDAQ, Walgreens is still on the NASDAQ. And I'm right here just around that 52 and 5280 level. It's trying to hold a higher low. I kind of look at what it's doing right now and say to myself, why sit below this support? I might as well just try and take it. I'm going to take it in front of 53 and see if it can hold it. Ear is still in the pocket of short 750. It's at about 738. That doesn't mean anything until it gets down closer to that zone.
All right, let's go here, guys. Ape Nation on the loose right now. Let's go to the upside now, AMC. Come on, you can do this. We're long on AMC here. We tried to pick the bottom up. Let's see what happens now on AMC. Back upside right now. Who knows? Yeah, let's go. Come on. I mean, maybe AMC's the one that we can have right now. Already low. And look at the resistance here at 21. What the hell? Let's take another piece out here at 21. No idea why it's doing this. It doesn't want to break through. 21 right now on AMC. And there it goes. Yes. Big time win right now for AMC as we load it up right now on that name. So a good win there for us on AMC. Let's see if it takes out the bottom. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hold now on AMC. On the line on this one. See if we can get back here. Like famous Ja Rule was saying back when AMC was going nuts about a year ago on that one. So big one. Trader Pratt making big time moves over there. Let me know in chat what that stock was.
Rivian is down at 78.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Like, look at Rivian is getting absolutely destroyed here. I mean, the 15, who cares like what chart you look at? It doesn't even matter. Like, it's getting absolutely cracked. Like, this is kind of on this stock, or at least on some of these EVs and the high valuation, it is kind of a flash crash. So usually when you see this, and I remember the actual flash crash, unless you're already short and holding on to it, one of the things that you're basically doing is, if it halts down or you're thinking about any kind of a turn, there's probably $5, there's probably at least $3 in it. Yeah. But I mean, trying to guess at it, you want it to almost bounce a little bit first before you jump in. Now we're down 14% on Rivian. I haven't looked at Lucid or Neo or some of the other names. I'm just looking at Tesla and Rivian. And it's like, I got out of Tesla. If I didn't cover Tesla, I would have been shut down 10 minutes ago. That's how far it's fallen. And I got out of that at 9:48. It's like 10:06. That was $30 ago on Tesla, where I covered. $30, and Rivian's even worse. Easily.
Yes, sir.
75, like maybe 75. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to test a little long here on Neo down into 28 bucks here. So we'll see NEO bouncing off some of these levels one more time. So if we can get along here in the 50s, we'll take it, but it's probably a short if you look at the rest of this market. So there it is. We take a little long right now at 51 here on that name. And just we're almost out here of Disney. We try to protect that $54 level. If you can go over to a 20-minute chart here before it breaks, I'll show you why we're in this name. But again, my chart's a little hectic right now. There it is. So you can see 54 right here. Like we're right at some of these levels that we've been at previously. It's obviously 154, but we're getting ready to break in lower. This into this is going to be a little crazy. So it looks like we'll be a 30-cent hit or so on Disney, which is actually, you know, a $150 stock, not bad. We'll take a 30-cent hit if it goes up. Goes back down. But here we go. Maybe retracing a little bit now. But wow, in the dumpsters, a lot of these names, guys, today. So just be very, very careful with your trades. And we were celebrating AMC. It's a good thing that we took some out, but not enough. Like we noticed that 21 was resisting down there. So I don't even really know why we didn't get it all out. But now we've averaged into AMC, and it doesn't look like the 8s want to play very nice today, as this one's going to crack a little bit lower here. AMC, we're only long 98, so we're going to get out if it breaks back below 2080 right now, which was that day's low. So AMC trying to get back upside. Now we're back almost in the money on this name. But wow, what a violent day this has been. And we did talk about this the last few days, that this move was kind of not expected, but we were expecting a flush down in some of these markets.
Yeah, and that's basically what you got here. Now, 75.13 is the low. Like I just said, maybe 75. Like the only reason for that is the nature of the move to the downside on Rivian and the fact that 75 is a round number. So understand, like when that's a play, it is literally a play. It is, if it breaks 75, you're out. If it bounces, it might give you a move to 79 to 80, and halfway to that is 77.5. So take some out at 77.5, and then hold the rest for an $80 level. Brennan?
Another one that was very, very popular in the retail world, along with AMC going back to the beginning of the year, guys. Microvision, another one getting cracked today. A couple of downgrades on this, 10% for MVIS.
Okay, we're going long on Rivian if we can get it here. We'll see if that just made that bottom. No idea here, but we'll try it on Rivian if we can get it. It's coming back down to there it is. Now we are long Rivian against the bottom here. So we'll hold this all the way back through 75. If you want to take out 75, then I'm going to lose $2 on Rivian. So that's what that trade's going to be, and we'll just see where it goes from here. So I'm willing to hold this one. Rivian, new position, long, and that is what it is. So we'll wait to see if that's going to go. NEO, obviously, we're flat on that trade right now. Ford, looks like it wants to take us out down here through 23.50. That name not working right now either, but we've already murdered Ford to the upside today. So that has been a good trade for me, upside there on Ford. And then AMC did make that run back up, guys, and honestly, it resisted 21 again, so we got a little bit more out. I mean, it was literally for flat. I still think it could go upside. We are holding now for 20-cent downside risk on this name, but I mean, I'd like to get short something. We just went long Rivian when I should have pushed the short there. So let's wait to see. Looks like Disney, there it goes. So Disney out, majority of the trade. We'll see. Maybe we just got bottom wick there, but Disney, we are out of that trade as well. And just holding out hope that Rivian was some sort of a flash crash. It does have the ability to come back up, but
this wick is ridiculous on Rivian, by the way. Like, it never upset, never happened. If it comes back to the downside, I'll give it one shot to hold 75 again before thinking about trying to reload it. A lot of times, that first move up might be it. We'll see. I've seen stranger things before. I wish there's nothing to report on here. Well, when the market's doing this, I guess sometimes those small caps that you thought were going to be the most volatile, you can throw that out the window. This FRLN, I got to start. I'm just going to get the rest of this out pretty soon here because that's falling like an absolute rock. Nothing to do with the overall market dying here. I just want to make sure that I'm taking profit and not neglecting some other names. It's Rivian that bears watching. The ES is right at the low of right at the lows right now. You know, we're down 0.5%. The Nasdaq is crashing low. 15.6 is in store. If there's a bounce off of those two levels on the futures and Rivian holds 75, I think it's good. But if it cannot do that, futures break those lows. There's no stubbornness about the 75 level on Rivian. Tesla now down at 10.25. About the only place I'm thinking about going long again on Tesla would be in front of 1,000. Like literally 1,001, 1,002 in front of 1,000 even. Crazy to be saying that. Someone asked, did we sell anticipating this could happen? Personally, I diversified way too early. You could say way too early, starting to think about names like Pepsi and those kind of things. But That's me. So I wasn't really selling much of any tech. I sold Tesla, and that's about the only thing. And that was when it was at 1,200, only a third. Everything else was more just about making sure that I had enough in names like Pepsi, in names like Procter & Gamble, in names like Intel that would withstand some of these moves. And even those are going to get beat up on days like today. Like I said, there's nowhere you're going to hide. But the Dow's not doing too well either.
No, I don't think it.
I guarantee it's well.
So we did, yeah, I know. So we did give something back on Ford there as it takes out that 50 level, and that's it, man. We're gone. We're going to hold a small piece on Ford, but we are out of this trade. So just waiting to see where it goes from here. Who knows at this point? But look what else is happening. Thank God the apes are back in the building, guys, because AMC has been. I mean, again, we have a lot of positive stocks, but we have a few negative stocks on the board today, and AMC is not one of those as far as negativity is concerned. AMC now making those moves back up to the upside, and we still got this on board. So, like, you know, legit trade on board right now with AMC, man. We're just trying to protect some of this. It's all the way up to 24 again. Let's take a piece out here at 24. Tons of liquidity. Did I just get that? Yes, I did. Tons of liquidity up here at 24. So let's wait to see now. AMC, 40 cents in the money and still ripping. Ears not doing anything. We're waiting to get out of that one. Neo bouncing, not doing anything. And then Rivian, I tried to get some 76 there. Didn't get them. Was actually waiting at 76 even. It went down as low as 76.25. So Rivian trying to work out as well. And then on a name that we basically flat on the day, SoFi, that touched 13. So is there size here at 13 on SoFi? But yes, there is. So that's a decent trade right now. Let's go long SoFi right now and see if we'll go long right here at 9 and see if it takes out that 13 here. So SoFi, we're going to test it down here at this bottom level. May crack. It looks like it's trying to get down again, but we'll take it long here off 13. If you want to see the size, it's right here, 1,000 there. So that's about 100,000 shares at 13 on SoFi. So we're going to punch the long here and see if there's some movement back to the upside.
Yeah, so a couple of things here. It looks like there is a bounce happening in Walgreens. And again, just trying to find something that is worth sort of taking as the futures try to bounce here. Rivian was more about 75. Walgreens was about the low of the day in the strong earnings. But I'm going to play the range still. And when it's this week, I'm going to definitely try to take some profit at 53.5. You'll see that I do have the long down here basically at 53 even in front of that bottom. So if I can get halves to 50s, that's the trade that I want to work with. Ears starting to roll a little bit, so to the downside. Again, it still has to break that low to be of any kind of concern. But ATHE, which has been sitting pretty as a nice little scalp trade, now retesting this high. So it's held $1. Now it's held 110. So holding $1, holding 110, I think you can see what I'm getting at here. If this breaks out at like 21.22, this is a run away from the kind of situation because it's about to run to the high. Rivian looks like it's going to make that push up into VWAP here, so you get to 80 to 81. We're not happy about it, but obviously the market trying to get back to that.
Wow, guys, AMC, let's go. We're positive today, guys. So we'll spin the money. It's a positive day for us. Net-wise today, obviously, as we're starting to run, man, we talked about that AMC picking up at 21. Wow, what's up to Niagara, Charlie? What's up to everybody here with us on this play, man? Wow. And then you want to talk about another play. We just got some of SoFi out right there, guys. Like, again, this is what we're waiting for. Trying to be more specific, trying to put on bigger size when we get to key levels. We tried it down here, it worked, then it got dumped down. So SoFi, we exact our revenge and turn this name into the positive for us now on SoFi. Just wish we would have held Disney, but we did get out. Thank God we held 20% of Disney, now making moves back up to the upside. AMC 77. Like, you can't find winners today? No problem. There always are winners every single day in the stock market. You just got to find them, man. There goes AMC. Beautiful trade there. And then Rivian, guys. Rivian. We're long Rivian now. It's $1 plus in the money. Well, it was $1 plus in the money. Now 80 cents. We'll see where it goes. I don't know what the light count is going on. What's up, Niagara Charlie there in the chat? But we're here with you, man. The People's Trader trading the People's stock. AMC. What's up, Miss B?
It's like a clock, guys. It's a busy day, and here I am to remind you to like this video. We're now at 1,100 likes, and we would really appreciate if you guys help us to get to 2,000. So please turn it up to the upside, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Back to you.
looks like Rivian is now climbing. You're going to see like a strong higher low. You're going to see consecutive bars to the upside. If that's a flash bottom, it should at least recover to this $80 level from what I can see. What a crazy move to the downside. And by the way, when we say the term flash crash, what that essentially means is the bulk of the move down is bids pulling. Most of the liquidity in the market, the quotes you see when you look at the level 2, it's going to be algo, right? So when they pull that bid, things get absolutely ugly. You get capitulation. An example of that, sort of in real time, if I can pull it up, is going to be what's happening on here right now. Like you'll see, like as it comes to the downside, a lot of these levels, well, yeah, like you just sort of saw there, but just bid pulling, some capitulation. It just held 7, but another push to the downside. I'm not saying a flash crash is happening on here, but essentially on Rivian, when the rug gets pulled, when the bid does come in, it can get really fierce to the upside. So not really looking to take that out till it gets to VWAP. I'm being patient with EAR because if you got something that's working, this is the time that you want to be holding on to it. It's that kind of a market. Like the move is probably going to be outsized in either direction. That's kind of what we're seeing here. Watch out for that ACAG. I'm going back over to Peloton just to quickly show you that bounced off the bottom, gets right back into this like 32 level. That'll be flat on the day if it breaks VWAP. So it went all the way up, broke $1 to the upside, flushed to the bottom, and now tries to come back up there. I think it's a bit of a long trap to take something like that, breaking a VWAP or something like this. If it rolls back over, I'd be thinking more short on some of these. Nowhere near as crazy a move as a Rivian to say, well, that's an easy bottom to take, right? Like that's, compared to Rivian, like that's just not even nearly the same thing. I think that can still be faded. Whereas Rivian, I think you're hands off and you're holding that long if you got it. I think VWAP's the story.
Ooh-wee doggy right now. Look at AMC, look at SoFi. Like right now, we're spinning it. I cannot believe that we survived today, guys. So let's put another offer out here. Like we only have a $1.10 winner here on a $22 name with AMC. So we should probably take a piece off here on the top side of this play right now. There it is, takes about a 99. Wowzers on that one. And how about Rivian? How you like them apples right now? It's in the money, $2.50. I just heard you talking about
I just got out of it.
Perfect, man. $2.50 win right there on Rivian. Beautiful trade to the upside right there. SoFi also rocking and rolling. We put on the big on that one as well. The chicken dinner winners are everywhere right now. So, I mean, yes, you know, if you stuck with it today, I think you're going to be positive. I know we've had a couple missteps here, but most of these trades coming back in and nicely into the money for us right now. I am also debating getting out of some Rivian right now. I mean, it's $2.50 in the money and bouncing off 80.50. So let's take some profit on Rivian right now. But guys, wow, what a good trade today. We step up to the plate, step up there, hit those home runs. Hopefully you guys are in some of these plays with us. Let's go over to the big screen with Mirendo.
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Typically on a day when you get an overall market move, individual names going to kind of take a backseat, specifically in small cap world. Here we go though. Only a couple things to really talk about. FRLN, we mentioned in the pre-market up on positive news, 293.10, and then that high was like 325, 330. Doesn't matter because it never comes into play. There was a consolidation here on the way up initially that it seems to be struggling with right now, but volume's kind of dying off. Decent fade for FRLN. EAR, I'll give you my take here. Broke back down through 8, which was support. That was enough for me. I had a VWAP stop, so got stopped out at VWAP on the way back up. Took that again, so we're on the way back down through support right now again for EAR. And then I wanted to mention this GNPX. The past couple of days has given you great opportunities. There was a pretty clear level here from yesterday. 240, 250, an area of resistance yesterday comes up, gives you really good test there. I missed it, but great opportunity down to day lows. Guys, talk to you.
I think GameStop, we just want to talk about AMC there. And Stephen Howard just asked about the global foundries. I traded GFS yesterday. It has 237,000 in volume today. I don't think this is the kind of market that you want to be day trading names that don't have any volume, because liquidity is going to be at a premium when the market's moving like this to begin with, let alone stepping into something that doesn't have a lot of it. So I'm not touching Global Foundries as a day trade today, despite liking it in yesterday's action. GameStop just held here at VWAP. I'm going to jump into something in the short time. We're just talking about Peloton. This is the daily on GameStop here. You're going to see that previous low at about 128. That's essentially where it's trying to rebound to. That's also yesterday's bottom here at 129. If it fails to chew back through this level and starts to roll over, I think that can be shorted. Rivian, like I said, I said there when Sean was talking that I had gotten out of it. That came up to VWAP, broke to 80. Looked like it was about to get to VWAP, and then just started to have a bit of an offer churning here. So I covered it. It did a bit of a wick to the downside. It's always going to be a scalp trade. I'm not going to try to hold it all day. That was like almost a flash crash type of bottom. And if it makes a low and you can get in and get out and take the profit, that's what I'm going to look to do. Right now, I'm more concerned about is it going to be a potential turn for me on GameStop, sort of a similar setup. If I can get this one short and then it takes out, so it doesn't take out 129, I think that would be the level.
So we just made back like a decent amount of cash. Obviously, we're up on the day, so and then there goes Disney. Like obviously we had that out. Like how much money would we be up if we just never got stopped out right there? But we did on that move down, and we tried to be patient there with 154. And I just couldn't go to the grave with it. But if we take out some money back on the upside, we are still negative on Ford. I'm sorry, not on Ford, obviously, but on Disney. But there it is right now. We are holding as a winner. We took it out at 70 for a 55 cent win on that move. So we'll wait to see. Oh, we just got out of something else there. Oh no, don't tell me. I had another offer there on Disney that I just got out of. Oh no. Okay, well, whatever. Profits are profits, but we did not need to get out. I need to like relook at all these orders, man, because I feel like I'm getting filled on things that I didn't even know we had. But right there, that's a good one here. Cancel some of these. We've gone a little bit lazy there, but whatever, because you know what? SoFi. Ripping, man. SoFi, that was honestly like my most profitable stock today is, well, whatever, it's AMC right now. No, it's Ford still. Oh, it's AMC, I'm realizing. But Ford is my number one stock, followed by AMC. And then SoFi, man, despite it dropping down, we went over here. And if you're watching the show because you like the show, fantastic. But I'm also thinking that one of the reasons is because of the education. I showed you guys that bid that was down there at 13, right? We're patient with this name. We waited for this to come in. It came in, and we hammered it, guys. So we hammered that trade. So we're smoking the good with SoFi here today, as that just keeps on going to the upside. Forget about cannabis stocks. Those, we could slap a fail on it, but we will slap a register today on what we're doing. It's been a big day. You had to have the right names. But here we go, man. AMC, $1 in the money. SoFi rocking. Rivian back up to $2 in the money as well. Just bouncing off 18.15 there. I'm sitting at 80.20. So we missed that trade by 5 cents.
Don't even have to do too much.
I was like $80.20 just because it's moving so fast. Like you can't take anything for granted when you holler out some of these prices. I got the GameStop trade. I'm in at 127.50 and I'm risking to 129. So until it gets about $1.50 in the money, which I think is pretty low too, I don't want to take anything out. Here is about to make another leg down. So it gave me that in. I did miss the opportunity to add to it. Once it cracks that low, I want that volume to take me out for some shares. Then some in front of that 625 level as well. So got here, and that one looks like it's going to continue to work. I just got GameStop first leg out, so that was pretty quick. It popped into VWAP, failed at VWAP. We're able to short it on that lower high. Already taking some out at a 1-to-1 risk ratio. If it can take out 125, I'm looking to get down towards that 123. I think if you're the way the market sort of bounced there, you had a wick bottom on the ES and the NASDAQ that broke through the low and then managed to snap back up. So if you're rolling into a short on some of these names, I think you kind of want it to be like, not to pick on GameStop, but kind of pick on them, being something that I think has a little bit more weakness, like not play that rollover in, say, one of the good tech names, like an Nvidia or something like that. So I'm going to stick with something like GameStop and small caps, short side. The only one of which isn't working is watch out for that HPC. And that's because it held $1 and then $1.10. It still hasn't broken the top. It's forming a bit of a wedge here, but I keep coming back to it because if it breaks that high, you got to be concerned about it. It's about to make a run to that pre-market high.
Got 99 problems in positions 8-1 right now, boys, because $1 is the money on AMC. We're wearing our red and black lumberjack, but we don't have the hatch match. So we'll shout out to Brooklyn. Right now, they get Kyrie Irving back yesterday. We're in the red and black. And AMC, ripping up up? What's up to the people out there? You guys killing it right now. We came forward on the bottom here. Hopefully that make its way back up to the upside. So let's just review the positions. AMC $1.20 in the money. Ford now starting to move up. Dying piece in the money. Neo, we forgot about Neo today. So let's go, man. We'll go like this one. Here we go. Neo. Hungry. There we go.
There's a $500,000 on the offer this stock.
Which one?
This ATAG. With that level I was looking at the chart, I didn't look at the level too. Like this level keeps holding $1.23 randomly. It's because there's a 500,000 shares on the offer. I should have been looking at the level too.
All right, Neo. Yeah, good. So good. See, there we go again, guys. Showing you guys level 2, showing you guys everything. NIO as well, guys. Big time win on this one, guys. 50 cents right now for NIO as well. So crying no more. What a great day it is here today. We make back everything we lost yesterday and more. Good day today, but yeah, wow. On our portfolios, it's not a very good day, but day trading, well, it could turn very, very nice. Yeah,
the Nasdaq just went green.
Look at it.
Nasdaq just turned positive.
What's up, Brendo?
I'm not seeing any news on this yet, but Teva trying to bounce here. Teva Pharmaceuticals, negative news going back to last week that we talked about on Teva, but 2% back to the upside. Huge buyer just stepped up there.
So the Nasdaq just turned green. It's right. GameStop for me just went from $1.50 in the money to basically flat. This level on ATAG was 500,000 shares, now 180,000 shares. It did get mostly taken out, and then someone marketed it short down to like 120. Obviously, if it doesn't feel good, I punched out. I'm like, oh, the level's going. I punched out of the trade. The second the level held, I just jumped right back into it. It's the same. Look, it's essentially you get to risk 2 cents, and if support's down at 110, it's to make 5 to 10. So I like that risk to reward. But that's 100% about the level 2 in that particular case. If that order wasn't there, I probably don't make that trade. But the order was there, so I do.
I just tweeted this out, guys, because we were patient. We waited for the trade, and then AMC, we are still on board right now with this stock. This is a big name today, obviously. Is today AMC day? I don't know, but this is definitely a stock to watch, a stock to trade. And if you're a day trader, you got it in Wheels and GameStop, which is basically the same thing. Good trade, well, as far as movements hopefully are concerned. But right now, $1.70 in the money. Did anybody else have this AMC long today? Shout out to you, Niagara Charlie. Shout out to everybody today because, yeah, we on one with AMC still in position, man. Sometimes you got to wait for those things to fall down. And you know what else we're still in position on? Let's go. It's hot dogs for everybody today as Rivian, guys. Rivian right now. Big time movement up $3.50 on that one. So here we go, man. Rivian, a nice little move back to the upside. I love hearing that, like, you know, we were thinking that was a flash crash. As soon as I hear that, I think buy. And there we go, a beautiful move back up to the upside on Rivian. I just wish
the reason for that is
hold on a second. I just wish we had the reload down there that we missed by 10 cents. But there it goes, Rivian.
The reason for that is flash crash. I'll tell you this right now. Like there was a minor one on Intel when I was a trainee, like years and years ago, and I remember a trader talking about how he missed that, and the second time he would see something like that, he would jam into the long, and then we sat through the actual flash crash and watched our screens as things went crazy, and didn't really get anything at the bottom when we observed it. So now that you sort of see what those liquidity vacuums look like, you always want to try to take them when you can get a chance at them, just because the risk to reward plays are tremendous. Like, where are you ever going to see those situations where essentially it's like if it bounces off 75, you can get 76, and it's probably just going to go right to 80, and you can get like gross moves like that. So GameStop, I took out $1.50, and then I risked that back to the upside. It was hands off the keys. It just broke that 129. Look, I mean, I'm going to be able to maybe scalp a reversal in this, but I don't necessarily want to hold on to that. ATAG, that level held. That's why I showed you on level 2. I'm going to start taking it out in front of VWAP, ATAG, and then work it back down to that 110 level. Again, I think that's mostly just a scalp trade because of the size I saw on level 2. And I think that's what you want to do sometimes when you get lower liquidity. Walgreens has managed to hold the bottom. I'm not offering until it gets above VWAP. If the market's going to recover, and somebody that had a good earnings report, I think it's going to do fairly well for the rest of the day.
Oh, man. Wow, we're pretty exhausted right now. I'm glad it's 10:30. We only have a half hour left before we throw it over to market movers. And yeah, today, There's a few that are moving around a little bit here. AMC still going, guys. What's up to everybody there? Facebook, you guys know I love Facebook. LFG, Niagara Charlie, let's go. Let's go to Team Project today as well. PJCT there. FB going up like crazy. Sell that AMC before I pound it again. Okay, go ahead and do that. I'm I'm out of the majority of these shares. We're just going to let it go right now. Everything flying around, run ripping. Okay, we'll find out for that. Uber, Upstart, PayPal, everything. Let's go. Man, thank you for the chat. The best community around. And yeah, by the way, like a little bit of an undercover trade. I mean, it's not undercover because I've been talking about it, but like this SoFi, maybe there's not enough being made here on this, but like this went all the way down to 13. Showed you the huge level, and I like upsized the trade there. So there it is, man. If you're going to be a day trader, sometimes it is about, not sometimes, a lot of times it's about risk. And right there, this risk reward, like you're talking about right now, guys, 5 to 1. So there you go, Brad. You want to talk about risk to reward? We were giving this name 9 cents. Wow, slippage, just call it 10 cents. You just took 50 cents right there on that trade, although the majority of them out right here at the 40s, some here at the 30s. So that's just how we trade, but there it goes. Nothing but love, nothing but upside. We're going to go to Brendan, but you guys got to hit the like here. 1.5K. Please, guys, hit the like on this one. Trust me, it'll make your portfolio go higher. What's up, Brendan?
Some of the other EV makers worth mentioning, guys, participating in this bounce as well. Just saw Lucid back to only 4%. It was down way more than that. Down below 34 this morning. I'll flip over for you. Nikola with another order coming through this morning. Back to positive and then some for NKLA. 10:30. Let's get a check on how things over in Europe are managing. Yeah, back to positive here in North America today. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are negative. Banks are among top performers, with Deutsche Bank is up around 2%. One of the worst performers is German software company Natchat, down more than 9%. Back to you.
Yeah, tech stocks, lagging a little, but here we go, guys. The Russell positive, the S&P positive, and the NASDAQ is positive.
There is one thing lagging. I'm just going to look at a stock. Bitcoin is still trying to hold that 42,000 level. So crypto maybe not moving as much. I did note SI, which is just an equity that I happen to own here. That's why I'm watching it. Trying to get back up major support at 131. I'm going to come back over to a couple of names here just to go over positions. Walgreens, which was on the watch list, is about to get filled. I might just jinx it now because I just said about to get filled because I'm on the offer. And this is, it's like 2 or 3 cents away. We're going to take first target. I've been holding on to this. If it breaks 53.8, I'm looking to try to hold this all the way to 55. There's still a lot of upside. Just sort of looking at what the NASDAQ is putting in here, and especially even the ES. If you look at the gap, or at least the move that we had in the afternoon, and even this morning, right? Like, there's a lot of room to come back in here. Even something like a 15.9, a 1600 wouldn't seem like a drop in the bucket. The ES kind of the same thing. If we're breaking these levels, I think we have some room to run. So if you got something in the money, you want to take the opportunity to hold on to it. I showed you guys ATH. I can hit a button, but I'm just going to go through these quickly. I showed you that one. That order that held the levels here at 115, I think it's a scalp that can give you 10 to 15% profit down to that $1, worth probably still a bit of a long. And here continues to capitulate on the downside. It has yet to breach 650. I think it's probably going to give a dollar win, but it's only been giving you about 50 to 60 cents so far. Should have a buck in it. Hasn't really fallen apart again since that flush that we had at about 10:15 or so when Brendan was doing small cap recap.
Okay, guys, so we're just sitting out literally, legs up, ready to chill out here as we've just made quite the epic comeback right now. NIO, 55 cents in the money. And just to give you guys a recap, we are now out as we face slap ourselves. It's Dancing Monkey, not face slap. That's right, I knew that one. For our AMC trade, it comes up here to 40. There was some size on the bid that was getting taken out, so I did punch out there at 42 on AMC. So, I mean, you get right there. That's a $3 and maybe even more than that. I mean, how much was that there on the outside of AMC? But anyways, we'll look at that in a minute. There it goes. And then check out this play as well. And not only that, like, I'm giving you these clean. These plays are super clean, guys. Like when we went over here and talked about trading Ford. Let's go this way. When we were trading Ford right now, we talked about getting that in right here and then explained our out. So there it goes. Another risk to reward of 3 to 1 right now on Ford, right? I mean, right back up to the upside, right to VWAP, kind of where we planned that out for. So that's a monster win right there. Rivian, $4 in the money right now, right? That's whatever. That's a good trade, right? SoFi, 50 cents in the money. Oh, and a big shout out to you as well, Daryl. You were talking about it here that you also went long. I forget where it was, but anyways, shout out to Daryl Flinch there, one of our, heralded. I think I really like your opinion and everything that you give to this community there, Daryl. But you also as well went long there, SoFi down here, that bottom. So that's great, man. And then the note that we had on the sticky note here was watch out for 1350 on SoFi. So now that we're all the way back up here, it captured 55-cent winner. This might be an area, that's why we take a piece out there, always out in front of 50. And now we'll just wait to see. We're I only have 10% left in this trade. So every one of these out is basically all the same, as we weren't sure the market wanted to rally. But how you like that out right now on AMC, as that's looking like a decent out now. I don't know how your GameStop, I haven't looked at GameStop today, but AMC. I
got out of the short for profit on half. Basically got out for a loss on the second half, reversed to a long, scalped like 50 cents on it. So I've had like 4 trades on GameStop. I'm going to be up on it, but I think the bigger trade if you had that top. Alert to this ENSC. It's halted, but it's done basically no volume into this halt. So I would say trade this with caution. The days like today, things can get pretty freaky when it comes to liquidity. Anything is already halting and doesn't do a million shares. Watch it. It has yet to break this 450 level, and the tap, the actual theoretical auction price, which is the open, right now would be at 465. So it actually just opened up, just breaking this level here. Watch out for $5 in the top on the 15-minute chart. I just paid for shorts on this because once you hold it once, maybe hold it twice, I think the reversal can always come into these. So I'm watching NSC. Just note that you can never go broke taking profits, and this would be a name like that where you want to make sure that you do that. Walgreens, I said I was jinxing myself by saying I would get the fill. I did get the first fill up at 53.50. Quickly grab 50 cents there. I'm looking to grab on the next leg here about 75.80, maybe a little bit more than that if it breaks 54. And then we'll see if we can't hold it. If the market breaks the high, ES 47.10, NASDAQ 158.5, I can't see a way that we're not getting some of these levels, something like a Walgreens, which will just have to turn green after fantastic earnings, which I don't think is asking a lot if the market wants to rally.
Oh man, okay, it's only 10:38. I mean, I'd like to find some more ideas here for you, but right now we're just kind of in cruise control here, watching some of these plays to work for us. We have $4 in the money on Rivian. I mean, that was, I just wish I wasn't looking at other things. I mean, I would love to have been long down here near 75. Unfortunately, we are long right now, but again, take the profit and hold. So that's out 2/3. We're holding 1/3 left to see what this wants to do. But Rivian on the monster move back. And this is what I mean. You can't scalp out everything. You got to sometimes hold on for just that bigger winner, man. And it definitely exercised demons today on this. And you know what else is happening right now? I don't have, you know what I actually don't have on here, and maybe it's a good thing because I hit it too much, is the hot dog, Rob, I need the hot dog cannons on. I don't have that one on here, I don't think. But it's been a roller coaster ride so far today for us. But we can fire off the cannons if you guys have it over there, because right now, Neo, no, the one where I'm like, that one. So if you have that one, that's great. If you feel like celebrating, Neo right now, Neo right now, 90 cents, forget about it. Neo now 90 cents in the money as it's taking out some of these new highs. We've had this one. There it is. Thank you so much for putting it on the board. I feel like a hot dog kind of day today. SoFi, Neo, Ford, all big time in the money now as we look to run things higher. And that AMC out, guys. I just should have gotten short there, but that was a nice little take there on AMC. Nicely done. We'll see if we can reload it back now. Here, $22. Good out to you guys. We've been talking about this name for a while. We lost them the other day, but seek the revenge today. I believe it's Brendan now. It looks like a pretty interesting board over there. Over at the big screen mixed board, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, back to positive territory, as we said here, for the S&P 0.1% to the upside. We'll talk about the banks here in a second. I want to mention we saw energy, or oil, I should say, up 2% in pre-market if you joined us. All of the energy sector following through with nice gains today. HES, MRO, COP, Devon there. 3.5% to kind of 4.5% in positive territory. Industrials are also positive on the day. Not huge moves, but worth mentioning. Watch that group going into the afternoon. Far corner over there, we were talking a little bit about CLF. Some of the resource stocks, Nucor here, 3.8%, FTX, 2.4%. Back to the downside. They've had, quite a run. So a bit of a pullback for some of those names. Netflix, 3% downside on a downgrade today. Facebook offsetting that 3% on the upside, back in positive territory. Financials, as I mentioned, positive on the day, although diversified financials specifically showing some weakness here. The individual banks back higher. Goldman over here, though, downside 2%. Insurance companies also in positive territory. I wanted to show you there's Tesla. 4.3% was more than 5 at one point, but trying to bounce nicely right now. The rest of the consumer durables and also retailers showing some weakness. There are individual names positive, but overall the group is lower. Humana, 10% in negative territory. Moderna below that 3%. Eli Lilly, ABM, so consumer discretionary, healthcare, and tech stocks making up the weakness. Everything else, though, positive, including the overall market, guys. Back to you.
I was just going over a few things like UNH is getting, well, it's down 1.5%, but I'm talking about for the last couple of days, they're down like $30 or so. That gets pretty interesting if you drop towards that 50 period, let alone that 200. I've actually done something which, I don't usually put trailing stops for partial positions, but I'm doing that in years here. If it gets back above 7, I want to cover a third of the trade just to make sure that I'm banking some profit. So I'm trying to be patient with this because the trend has obviously been that it's pulling back in, but I don't want this breaking the VWAP, going flat on me, and I didn't take any profit. So I'll try to grab 50 cents on the trade on a third of what I have left, and then still maintain bids down towards $6. So that's one way of trying to hold it. Walgreens is going to come, it's going to try to come back down here into towards VWAP, and sort of as it does so, I'm looking more at this higher low at 53, maybe 52.75, where I'd like to reload. The futures did not break those highs that I was talking about, the 47.10 on the ES, 15.85 on the NASDAQ, either one of those. So as the market comes back in, if you like something, I'm going to try to bid again around those lows and try to reload some of the longs that I do like. Otherwise, like I said, hold on to the shorts that are working. If you have a short that's working, it's probably in a small cap. I'm looking back over at a firm, which oddly enough, somehow I didn't trade today after yesterday. That's going to make a heck of a lot of sense. It's rolling back over. Like, that's the type of name that I think if you're looking to short something, it should be something like in a firm. Something maybe like a Peloton. I haven't really checked back in on it, but a firm does that.
Yeah, and we're just starting to slowly start to get out of some of these names that obviously we have on board here. We just took out some Ford as that failed a little bit there, breaking back through VWAP. We took a 65 out there on the way back in. So right now we're just holding very, very small positions. The one that we really should have been celebrating too much, well, we should have been. Rivian's been a monster trade. One of my top stocks as well. It's up there anyways today for Rivian, but it just dropped out. It hit that VWAP, man, broke 31 and so Rivian's back down here. We'll look to see if we get some more out. We'll get the final piece out if we're lucky enough to get this back to $2 today. I don't know what's going to happen in the EV space, so to sit here and make a prediction on how far Rivian's going to go from here, I don't really have that in me. So we'll wait. Well, I mean, I do, but we'll wait to see if it gets back to VWAP, and I think that's a good area to think about taking another piece out. But maybe even 82, even that high, we'll look at that. I feel like, darn it, we missed a little bit of opportunity there. Good thing we're only holding that less than 10% of SoFi right now. It was a pretty key area right there, man. 1350. So these are the majority of the outs right here. 40% out at 1340. So again, each one of these ticks is 10% out, right? So we take about 30% out for about 11 or 12 cents. Then out on the way back up, 40% of the trade out at a 4-to-1 risk to reward. And then you take it back upside. We take a little piece out, another 10% at 50, and now let's see where we go. So that's the sort of the area of concern for me right now, SoFi. But other than that, man, it's been a good trade here. Like Clover, there's so many names that are just getting destroyed. And again, we talked about DraftKings and sort of that we don't like that stock, obviously in this environment.